Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
A guest star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see there, Putin to lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to PSGL here for the first round of the PSGL E-Series Championship. So, obviously, last week we had qualifying, which was quite an eventful qualifying, to say the least, and it was, quite close towards the end who got through and who didn't. But we're here now for the first round of the series, and you get to see our four esports teams and one community team that got through last season take part in the first round alongside the 5 that got through in qualifying.
Absolutely, we are back, and it's going to be an absolutely fantastic series, isn't it? Last week, the qualifiers were top tier, and I cannot wait to get started. We've literally been waiting, haven't we, since the formulas in Qatar, knowing exactly who was going to be in the series, who's down as reserve, alongside the 5 teams that entered already. I am not only looking forward to it, but I am excited to be back at PSGL. And so far, November's being a very good month as well. We're back together, Richie, as well. We've got a new E-Series coming up. And my eldest sister has gone into labour with her first baby as well. So it's going very well at the moment. It's a long labour, of course. It's only just started. But so far, Wednesday, the 1st of November, a very good day. So let's top it off with some cracking esport racing. I'm very much looking forward to tonight.
Yeah, I'll definitely go on. I just had a look at the lobby, and there's a few names that I recognise, and there's some very quick names in there. We'll look at the lineup before we get in, and you can see this is the lineup for today. Obviously, we've got the rosters, but we'll look at them a little bit later on, where you can see all of the 60 drivers that are in all the rosters combined for this season. But this is the lineup for the first round. So we have in tier 10, obviously they qualified last season. They finished 3rd in the championship in season 1, so they got automatically qualified. They got Max Wiesel and Matthew Older. Then we got Ferrari Esports. They're making their, I believe, debut in the series. They got Istvan Pukki, obviously the 3rd driver, I believe, in the F1 Pro Series Ferrari roster, alongside Mr. Dylan Warren. Then we got Race Clutch with Tamas Galt and Sergio Sabino. Obviously, those two recently got signed as part of the Race Clutch Academy team, so very well done to those two. Then for Parnell Racing, they've got Simon Lukomsky and Daniel Kjeldsen. RHG, they've got Ikbayana and Chana Kinchi. Then we move over to the 5 teams that also got through, which is Lou Welch and Conor Muir for SRT. We've got Jan Halliday, Nelson Alves for TES, Andre Molnar and Boris Zakasek for Vroom, a team that I haven't seen too much, and also haven't seen those drivers too much, so I'm very keen on keeping my eye on Vroom. Then we got FVR with Javier Domine and Kodon Ngolo. Obviously, they also took part last season. And then finally, we got Williams Esports. They got Will Lewis and Ishmael Fassi. So, a lot of teams to keep our eyes on, Josh. Some of them, for me, a little bit unknown, but others, like Sir Dylan Warren, Istvan Pukki, Max Wiesel, Will Lewis, I've seen them a lot in the past, and I'm very excited to see what they can play at the box today in Bahrain. Obviously, remember, it is a full qualifying, so there's Q1, Q2, and Q3. We could see some shock surprises being out of Q1 and Q2, couldn't we?
We can indeed, and we've seen already this season in Formula One the likes of Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz, even Lewis Hamilton at one point getting eliminated. So if the top brass in Formula One can make mistakes, the top brass in esports can make mistakes as well. And with a full qualifying format, it sort of plays you around with tyre strategy as well, in terms of, do you go out early on some mediums and set some banker lap times in, get used to the car, get the setup right, make sure that the setup you've tried in time trial works in the simulation for the session as well. 29 laps, of course, ahead, so it doesn't mean that much here at Bahrain, but I love this track as a great starter for esports. I love it as a season opener as well, because it is a fast-flowing circuit with a tight mid-section of the circuit. So it's brilliant to separate the drivers around. And Bahrain always gives us a classic in the PSGL calendar anyway. So very much looking forward to when the session gets underway. We're all set in. I'm spectating. So hopefully the lobby will be loading in soon. and we can get going. Fingers crossed, though, it's going to be another classic.
Yeah, we're just waiting for one of the FVRs to get in, and then we'll head underway in towards the qualifying. So we'll have a look at the calendar as well quickly while we have the chance. So obviously we're here for the first round, November the 1st at Bahrain. Then next week we're off to Interlagos at Brazil. Then we have Silverstone for round 3, and then quite a controversial race I think we got when it comes to esports is Monaco. It causes a lot of chaos in real life, and in esports it causes a lot more chaos. So that one will be something I'm looking forward to. Then we have Montreal, which is round 5, where we kick off in November. Then round 6 we have Kota, one of the, in my eyes, best tracks in Formula One. Criminally underrated, in my opinion. Then we go to round 7, which is at Suzuka. Yet again, a very great track. I think more on the strategy side than the actual overtaking side. Then we obviously kick it off at the end with Jeddah, which, yet again, is a track that causes a lot of chaos in esports. So that will be a very interesting way to end the season. But I think we've got a great calendar, and whoever made it, thank you. It's a really, really nice calendar. So, yeah, I'm very excited to see how we go for these next 8 weeks. Obviously, there's no break week either, I don't believe. So it's straight in every single week, which is going to mean back-to-back action every single Wednesday until Christmas.
Yep, start November the 1st, end December the 20th on a Wednesday. Very nice way to get us in and just keep going, and fills the gap, of course. No F1 as the esports series takes over. So we're going to see a couple of drivers, I reckon, come in from esports just to have a little bit of a train. We saw that last season in the first time we ran it in E-Series. So it's all going to be looking good. 20 to 22 have readied in the lobby. So 2 more waiting. Of course, we're 2, me and Richu being the spectators. So just taking a look, reminder of how the point system works. It's the normal method coming into it. P1 gets 35 points, P2 28, P3 25, P4 is 22, P5 20, P6 18, P7 is 16, P8 14, P9 12, P10 11, P11 is 10, then P12 9, P13 8, P14 7, P15 6, P16 5, P17 4, P18 3, P19 2, P21. So basically everyone gets a point in the E-Series, and starting from P9, it starts ticking down normally to the end of the field. So it's a good sector for points as well. Going to make it very competitive. The driver who sets the fastest lap, if they're classified inside the top 10, they will get an extra point for the fastest lap. So that's on offer as well. And it's all looking forward to it as well. I've read the rule book as well, and it all looks very good coming into it. So the team names are in. Their drivers' names are all in as well. Dylan Warren actually hasn't got one just yet. Just noticed on the board. Neither is Ismail Fassi. One in the Williams, one in the Ferrari, of course. But it's going to be a lot of fun. And don't forget, during qualifying, there's a lot of rules set in about you can't give any slipstreams, and there's no toes as well. Yeah. So that's going to be fun. With the in-game penalties, it forces a lobby reset. So if anything happens where the in-game gives you a penalty that we don't agree with, we reset the lobby, get going again. So there's going to be a lot to look forward to, which means we've got about a 5 to 10 minute lull in the middle of this broadcast after qualifying, just to get everything set up once again.
Yeah,
but I'm loving it.
It will give us a bit of time to also look through the rosters, because we've got all the rosters on the screens, and there's, I believe, 59 drivers in total. So Williams have 5, everyone else has 6. So once we get to the end of qualifying and we have a little bit of time, we'll look a little bit through the roster, and obviously there'll be quite a few names we recognise. There might also be a few names that we've never seen before. There's definitely 2 or 3 I've never seen, so I'm very interested to see, obviously, if they make a feature for some of the teams in the other rounds. Yeah, it's going to be quite an exciting one. But we are getting underway for qualifying, and if just a reminder that qualifying is full. So it's a Q1, which is 18 minutes, followed by a Q2, which is 15, followed by a Q3, which is 12 minutes. So a lot of qualifying action. We could see quite a few surprising exits through in Q1. So I'm very excited to see how we get underway. We're going to pop to the game screen at the moment as we are just loading into the session. There we can see. There we are. Qualifying 1 at Bahrain. Obviously, as Josh said already, 29 laps around this circuit. So I think the strategy on this game, as we said before, is a lot better than it was on last game. So I think as well as it comes to the fact we'll get some great overtakes, we'll also see some great strategic moves from drivers. I know that, I think it was last E-Series season, Dylan Warren went from the hards to the softs. Something you never really saw. You never saw a soft make feature in a race at all, really. So to make a hard soft work and then win by 2.5 seconds, I think it was very good. So maybe maybe he could do the same again. Obviously, this time he's at Ferrari, not at TF10, and he took the victory then, obviously. So, yeah, we'll see what he's up to, but he's definitely a driver I'll be keeping my eye on. And then, obviously, there's, you got the likes of Ismail Fassi, Cabana, Will Lewis, who I haven't seen as much recently, so I'm very keen to see how they got on. But I think they're still probably going to be near enough at the top of their game.
Yeah, and they shouldn't have lost too much. I mean, F123 is a marked improvement in terms of drivability compared to F122. They've had a season as well already across PSGL and other leagues that they race in to get used to it. So they're top tier bunch, and we're ready for qualifying.
We are. We're in the session. You can see now on our screens. So unfortunately, Max Wiesel had a bit of a poor start to the session. He's already left, so he got disconnected, unfortunately. Just a reminder that lefted is Conor Muir. So, if I ever say both names, that's why you know I'm on about when I say Conor Muir. It's lefted, who is alongside Louis Welch, which is yet again a Team SRT. I'm very excited to see how they do. Last season, I'm just looking at the standings from then, they finished on 176 points, and they bet RHG Academy. So very good from the SRT team. They finished 8th in that season as well. This season, maybe they can finish a little bit higher, depending on what type of drivers they use in the race. Obviously, they got lots of, I think, Jack West as well. He was F2 champion last season. So if he makes feature for a couple of rounds, that could also help them in the standings. So, yeah, SRT are definitely a team I'll be watching and keeping my eye on as the series goes through. And also TES, very new. I think probably the newest team in the esports community in E-Series. So, obviously, they got Jan Halliday and Nelson Elvers at the moment. Nelson and Jan both racing Challengers last year. Jan's also part of the Aston Martin development team as well. So, I'm very keen to see how those two get on. But we have got a car on track, and that is Daniel Kjeldsen for Parnell.
Interesting enough, Richie, as well, so you cut out on my side, so I didn't know if you'd start talking or not. Just noticed intermediate tyres for Daniel Jedson out there on the circuit right now. So is the track wet? It's hard to tell at night racing whether it is or not.
No, this is something we see quite often when it comes to the full qualifying, because obviously they don't want to waste all their sets going through Q1, Q2, Q3. So use a set of inters, check everything's fine, all their equipment and all that, also all the technical stuff. Then they can go back out on a set of softs and set their first laps. So you'll see that happen. There might be a couple that we could say slower drivers that might go out first and set a lap, but the ones that I think will comfortably think they can get through will probably take that more of an approach where they can just try a set of inters, see if everything's working, get back into the pits, then go out on their softs. That's what Danielson. We'll look at the tyres well on stream quickly. We can see a couple more. We've got Max Wiesel, Nelson Alves, Jan, Dylan all going out on a set of inters, and you've got the likes of Boris and Andre who are going out on soft. So yeah, it all depends on what you want to do, realistically. I don't think there's any right or wrong way to do it. It just depends on what you prefer.
Well, one thing to know about this Q1 session, it's like as Richie's been saying, it's a full session. So Q1, 18 minutes, all 20 cars will venture out to the circuit. At the end, we'll lose the slowest 5. So there is a drop zone, 16 below. Q2, 15 minutes, a total of 15 cars. Again, we'll lose the slowest 5 to go for a top 10 shootout. That'll be Q3, 12 minutes long with 10 drivers as well, and the faster that sets pole position. No sprinting or anything like that in E-Series. It's straight on as Jedson just setting a bank lap on the end to make sure everything's okay with the car.
Yeah, just heading throughout turns 4 and 5. Obviously, with these inters, there's not much you can really take from it at all. He went purple in the first sector, but it means nothing. That sector is probably a second or so slower than what it will be on the softs as he heads through towards turn 8. But I think this is a really beautiful track. It's quite difficult as well. It really tests the driver's abilities, especially. I'd say this corner here, turns 9 and 10. It is a very difficult braking zone, and on the inters, it makes it a lot harder. So very good on anyone who can get through there cleanly on those intermediate tyres. But yeah, I'm excited to see what happens on this opening round. Obviously, in real life, it's also the opening round of the seasons. I believe, was it 2014 onwards? It was the first race of the season. Obviously, here as well, it's also the first race of the season.
No, it was we had it in 2006 and 2010, and then it was from 2021 onwards. It started to be the season opener again. But for 2025 and 2026, it's going to go back to Albert Park. And then after that, it's every 4 years they'll rotate between Bahrain and Albert Park.
Oh, well, I didn't know that, but I'm sure it's also informed a lot about other people in the chat as well, as Daniel sets fastest lap, the first lap of the session, at 1 minute 32.7. But it's nothing really to look at too much as it is on the intermediate times. We've got a few more drivers on track. I think we got Andre Monar, who's on a set of softs. He's heading to the line. He's invalidated, unfortunately, on his first lap. We've also got Boris on a set of softs as well. He's just heading down in towards turn 11, so we'll see what he can do. Obviously, Vroom made it through. I believe it was with Jeremy and Andre Qatar. Obviously, they got Andre in the first round alongside Boris Zakasek, who's a driver I've never seen before. So I'm very keen to see how he can get, how he goes on through the sessions, as Jan Herde goes second there with a woman at 33.0. But yeah, it's going to be quite an interesting one. And Boris, unfortunately, invalidates at the exit of turn 13. Now, that is something, Josh, I think we need to mention about this track. The track limits are horrible.
Yeah, turn 13, as you mentioned, we're just in it, is nasty. This final corner at turn 15 is also not great. But it's just, turn 4 is another one as well, which is really awful. It just catches you out when the car slides on exit. And Boris has backed out of both lap times there. So it's going to be a long one. It is full quali, so you sort of just got to sit down and accept what's going to happen next. Last week, Dylan Warren does a 1:32.098, but on intermediate tyres. Last week, when we had the qualifiers, it was a Q1 session, so 18 minutes in length for 3 times. Now we've got an 18, a 15, and a 12. And then we'll go in for the full 29 laps. So ideally, we'll be finished around about 1 hour, 45 minutes time, somewhere around those, if maybe a bit later than that. But it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun, this one.
It will. And I think qualifying around this track is also great. I think this is one of those tracks which qualifying is also as good as the race.
Like Monaco. Like later on in the year when we get to Monaco, that's going to be just as good as the actual race.
Yeah, I think Monaco's going to be one of those where she's literally just solely down to qualifying. In this, around this track, you can qualify a little bit further down and make your way to the top easily. But around Monaco, with it being such a thin circuit, you kind of like the person who gets pole will most likely win it unless the strategies are really diverse throughout the field. So I think, I know it's a little bit far-fetched because it's still 3 weeks up the road, but Monaco's going to be a very interesting watch. But back to the action here at Bahrain for the first round. We've got Boris, who's, I believe, on another lap, probably be heading back into the pits. I think he's heading back into the pits. We've got, is that Dylan Warren heading back through as well? Max Wiesel's just round at turn 11. And then obviously we had Jan and Daniel also just enter the pit lane. So the first 4 laps are nothing to take away at all because they are all on the intermediate tyres. Andre and Boris both went out on a set of softs and unfortunately couldn't set a lap time. They invalidated both our laps. I think Andre invalidated a bit earlier on in the session, around 8, probably before turn 8, and Boris invalidated unfortunately where we saw him at turn 13. So they've got to try and pull something out of the bag because they would like to get themselves through to Q2.
One thing as well that you've mentioned about tyres and why they're out there on intermediates during the race, and if it is a dry race, which I think we're going to have, all drivers are required to use at least 2 different dry tyre compounds. So that's starting on one and going on to the other. So it mandates the one stop across the 29 laps, which is pretty much normal, but it opens up the strategy because you could see start on a soft, then either go to a medium and hope there's a safety car later on, which there often is in a PSGL race, or you'd start on the hards, go super long, and then go on to softs at the end of the race, or you start on the medium and then go to softs later on.
Yeah,
so
I think
just try and cancel the hard. It's an interesting one-stopper.
Yeah, with this game being a lot better when it comes to the way tyres work, I think. The strategy's a lot more open. Before it was literally hard, medium, or medium, hard, and that was literally it. You never saw anything different. But now you can see the softs make an appearance. You've got hard, soft, hard. You've got medium, soft, medium. So lots of different strategies, and I think we'll see quite a few throughout the field. I've seen the races. You see them all starting hard, but by the end, there's people on. The people on the undercut on the mediums, you've got people on the overcut on the mediums, you've got people on the brand new softs. Lots of different strategies come out, even if everyone's starting on the same tyre. So that's something I think we should be watching out. And I think personally, let's not chat what you think as well, but I think strategy is going to be the key thing here today because the drivers are that close together. All you need is a strategy that can gain you a 10th. That 1/10 could put you a position ahead coming out of the pit lane, and then that could instantly give you the race victory.
Yeah, and it's so important to get that strategy call right as well, because we've seen it, especially over the last couple of years when, as you said, strategies become more important. These drivers, sometimes they have strategists that they work with, sometimes they're doing it completely on their own, and I don't know how they do it completely on their own, because if I'm playing single, playing either online or in career mode, and a strategy comes up, I'm always going to do exactly what they say because I've not got the time to work it out. I don't want to pause the game. So mega respect for these guys doing it in real time, figuring out what's the best, and they plan it so much. And it just, the dedication that they all put into it is great, as we've got a massive traffic jam coming down into turn 4, as we've just seen. Absolutely ridiculous, the amount of cars both coasting on the racing line and out of it.
Yeah, and coming through all that traffic is Andre Monard on a lap. He took the purple first sector as it's the first sector time set on the soft tyres, but he's got to get through quite a few cars as he heads also now down towards turn 9 and 10, and hopefully everyone moves out of the way. Everyone so far has, heading towards the breakers at turn 10.
Zone.
There's a Mercedes just in the way. They move out the way, luckily, as he heads through. Now, with the DRS down towards turn 11, and we'll see what he can do in this middle sector split as he comes through and towards the braking zone here. Brake around that 50-metre board, throw the car in, down to 4th gear, get back on the power, and heads through now. Up a bit of a hill, and it will be a 1 minute, I believe maybe 1 minute 6. Be 1 minute 6.3 for the split as he comes through out at turn 13. After to get off the power there at turn 13. That's going to lose him a little bit of time as he comes through, down in towards the final 2 corners at turns 14, then a bit of a kink to the right at turn 15, and we'll see, Josh, what the first lap time of the session will be.
Good exit power hasn't invalidated the lap time, so Andre Monard will be the first official time on the board, and it is a 1:28.058. Now, everybody else beat that as Javier Domé is on a lap, Boris on a lap time as well. They've gone out of kilter. The Mercedes is a 28.599 in that first sector.
Yep, and if you remember, FVR took part last season as well in EC's Season 1, and they, unfortunately, finished 10th in the standing, so hopefully this season they can have a bit more of a resurgence. Obviously, at one point they closed down. A few weeks later, they opened up with a bit of a different roster, so we'll see if that roster change just help them, and maybe they can try and get a little bit higher than 10th in the standings this season.
So much curb coming through turn 12. The bump is still there as well, so it still grabs you on the inside line of that curb and spins you around. It's been there for about 5 game cycles now. I'm surprised Codemasters haven't fixed it, but we saw it in Bahrain in pre-season testing, in the opening races earlier on this year. It happens in real life as well. That part of the track, you get the rear gone and it just goes. Jeremy does a 1:28.201, so 2/10 slower than Andre's time at the moment.
Yeah, I'm trying to find who else is on a lap coming towards the line. I'm just trying to and flick through. We've got Lefty D's heading out at turn 8, down towards turns 9 and 10. We've got Max Feast as well. He's on a lap. So let's say yes, he's coming through in towards turn 13 at the moment. He's got a car in front of him, which I believe is one of the Alpines, which will obviously be Brace, which will either be Tamash or where is he now on the screen? There he is. So just around one of those two. As Max Fiesel comes down towards the final quarter, turn 14 and 15. We'll see what he can set as he heads up towards the line. The fast 10 will be Tamash Go with a 27.622. What can Max Fiesel do? He goes second with the 27.752. So just a 10th there separating the Tier 10 and Race Clutch driver. So just Sabrina pops into 4th there with a 28.0. We got Daniel Kelson into 3rd. Then we got Lukomsky taking 3rd with a 27.8. A lot more times left to come through. A little bit further back, maybe you can see one of the Alfa Romeos, which is obviously RHG, come through towards the line. Well, Lewis pops himself into the top 8 there, just a 1,000th back from Sergio Sabrino. Andre Molnar, he's in 7th there, just a few tenths ahead of Sergio Sabrino. Lefted pops himself into the top 3. Javier Domine pops himself into the top 11. Dylan Warren hasn't set his lap on just yet. He's currently on the 32 as he has to set his lap on the soft tyres. Right, trying to kinch what can he do? He goes quickest there by nearly 10th of a second over Tamash Gal for RHG. What about his teammate? Ikaberna, he heads into the pit lane. He invalidated on his lap. What about his Van Pookie? He's also invalidated. Dylan Warren goes 3rd. Boris Sakashek, he's coming through the middle set. So at the moment out qualifying is Louis Welch, you had a Halliday, it's Van Pookie, Boris and Ika now. RHG have Ika out and Ferrari have Isfan out at the moment. That is not an ideal start.
No, really bad after the first runs as well. And 5 minutes to go. They've got time to get back in the pit lane and go for it again, but time is whittling down. I wish we could see it, but Codemasters don't fit the lights as well with the cautions to go over it, haven't they? So one problem at a time, I suppose. It was bugging me last year when they did that. Have they fixed the safety car, by the way?
Yes, with the caution at the top left. Yes, that's been fixed, luckily.
Hey, finally. You have to. This is my first race on F1 23 back as in the commentary box as well. So still haven't seen the safety car graphic yet. So that's great. They fixed it. So Kanakinchi then on top 1:27.5, and then right at the bottom, Jan Halliday's time is a 1:33.0. So that shows just so much in problems with invalidation, track limits, and of course the traffic, as we're seeing on the screen. So much being blocked on the track, and they're all trying to get the tow, even though it's not legal. It just so happens if they go out at the same time, they're out there. You can't really enforce that if they're on the same part of the track. So everyone's sort of like we're seeing in Formula 1 at the moment, where everyone's lifting off in the pit lane to get as much time as they want. It's practically what they're doing in esports, but lifting out on the track.
Yeah, and I'm surprised, to be fair, how big the spread is between the field. If you look at Channing Kinchi down towards Will Lewis, that's nearly 0.5 of a second between the top 13. Normally, you don't see gaps, in my eyes, that big. You're normally looking at about 3 or 4 tenths. So that is quite a large gap. But that's only to 13th. All the way down, you've got Lou Welch on a 28.8. That's over a second off. You've got Javier Domenech on a 28.2. So that's, quite large gaps throughout the whole field. Which is what could be due to traffic and invalidations and all that. But still, I'm thinking when we get to the end, it will probably close in a bit more. We've only got 3 minutes left, Josh. This session has gone very quickly. And this gives Istvan Pukki, Boris Ika, one chance to get a lap on the board. And I'd say the biggest surprise is Istvan Pukki, obviously joining for the Pro Series in 2023 alongside Barry and Nico. To see him possibly being out in Q1 because he's invalidating on his lap, to me is quite a large surprise. Max Wiesel thinks his 27.752 is enough to get him through to Q2. And we've seen that happen before, where people have got a bit early on the retiring just so they can save themselves a set of tyres, and then at the end be like, oh no, maybe that was a bit of a bad idea. Lefty also follows on with an 8.8. He's going to retire as well. So we've got a few drivers out on track. So do you think maybe anyone, Josh, will call it a bit early with the retiring?
I think they have called it a bit early, especially because Kanakinchi's done it as well now. I don't think that's going to be a top time. I think Kanakinchi's safe, but he's 2 tenths quicker than what Max, Lefty, and Dylan Warren are. So they're going to have to go out. Yeah, it's going to be risky. Don't think that was the right call, to be fair.
See, I'd say possibly for Chan, definitely, but I'd say it's possibly fair for Dylan and Max. But I think on a 0.8, I think that is cutting it quite close because all people need is a 2 or 3 tenth improvements, and they've bet the time of lefted. So, and also it was one of the Mercedes. They get very close to one of the race clutch cars coming through at turn 8, and let's hope no one gets damaged and hits someone because that wouldn't be an ideal scenario. And just to clear it up as well, even if we don't get penalties, we'll still have a restart at the end of qualifying before the race, just to make sure everything's fine and there's no issues going from quali to race. But we come towards the end of Q1, and you've got everyone out on track apart from Tamas Gell, and everyone else in the top 5 has also retired. So 6 down, all fighting to get out of that first qualifying session.
One thing I'm also going to point out is, do you remember last weekend in Qatar how close everybody was in the qualifying? Oh, and then Sergio Sprino
first one of the session.
Yeah, but that won't count unless it's deemed that he was actually block blocking. But do you remember in Qatar, everyone was so close that the gaps were like, what, half a second? Some of them even matched. What was it 4 teams matched on average times? We're seeing such a split here. I don't believe it.
Yeah,
it's got to be wrong.
It's a lot different. Obviously, as well, we've got different drivers taking part in this race than they did in Qatar. Obviously, Qatar's also a bit of a different track. But I am quite surprised how big the gap is between the field. But obviously, we'll see it probably come down as the lap times come through. We come towards the end of the Q1 session. We're trying to find who's on a lap first. We've got Louis Welch, part of Streamline Racing, Team SRT. He's heading down in towards that first corner. We'll see what he can do. Currently in the bottom 5 on a 28.8. Obviously, Louis, we know he's pretty much the pad goat in the F1 scene. One of the quickest, if not the quickest driver to race on the controller. Everyone else here is on a wheel. So hats off to Louis for being in this field and being on you could say, a bit of a disadvantage with equipment as he heads through towards turn 4. Very good job so far. His teammate obviously retired on a 27.8, so obviously Lefty thought that was safe enough. Louis up by a 10.5 in the first sector, but a little bit twitchy there through and invalidates. So that is Louis Welch out of qualifying. Big shame there for Louis because he don't have enough time to go out again because the clock has hit 0. So big shame for Louis Welch. The first car out in qualifying is one of the SRT cars.
Yeah, and Jan Halliday just seconds in that middle sector, so time improving there, but that is a big shock for Louis Welch to go out first off the bat. This is what gives you the big dramatics. I said it in the pre-show, big names are going to suffer here. Jan Halliday just gets it into turn 9 and 10. Second sector time coming up. We've got Tamas Gell, Andre Molnar. Andre Molnar actually improved up from 11th to 5th. Great time there on the board to get up. He was, 2.5 tenths faster than his own best time.
Yeah, we've got a few more cars trying to come through. We've got Sergio Sprino into 7th. We've got Ikebana into 3rd. And then also that's Javier Domenech out of qualifying. Boris Sakazek's out of qualifying as well for FVR and Vroom. So Jan Halliday, it's down to him and Istvan Pukki to see if they can get themselves through. Istvan Pukki does get through in towards Q2. What about Matthew Walder? He's dropped down into the bottom 5. We've got Jan Halliday coming through out of the final corner. Can he get himself out of this first qualifying session? He heads through up towards the line. What can Jan Halliday do? Will it be through? It will, but it knocks his teammate out unless His teammate can knock his other teammate out. TES, this is going to be one car through and one of the others not. What about Nelson Alvarez? Can he get himself out of Q1? No, he can't. What about Matthew Alder? Can he knock both TES cars out? We'll see as he crosses the line. And he hasn't, unfortunately, so Matthew Alder out to qualify as well. So one TES making it through, another not. 15th and 16th, that is not a very good sign at all for them. But a very interesting end to qualify. We'll look at the bottom 5 as we have the classification. So it will be Louis Welch, unfortunately, out, followed by Boris Sakasek, Javier Domine, Matthew Alder, and TES. And I'd say there, it was very close between TES. One of them was out, and unfortunately, it was Nelson Alves.
What a session! The two TS were completely caught out there, and what a time as well. Can we just point out from everybody behind, so especially getting up in. I'm trying to find out where there was now. We were just talking about Tamas Galder. He thought it perfectly as well. So did Kana Kenche with that 127.563. But spectacular opening session. Andre Molnar did actually drop down to 11th place in the end from that session. He went back up to 5th at one point. So it shows you that he was 5th and then dropped back 6 places again. So it's just brilliant. Now we're going to go into a second session of qualifying, which is just as dramatic. But I think Louis Welch not being in it, that's our biggest name out in Q1. That's our Perez.
Yeah, a big shame for Louis Welch. I would have loved to see him get through with his teammate lefted, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. And he is going to be starting the Grand Prix from last position. We've got a few cars going out on track now in Q2. Obviously now we could see some of the used tyres. Oh, that's someone stopping there, Max Fiesel. We could see some used tyres coming into play, so we might see a few times which might be 3 or 4 tenths lower than what they should be. And we also might see some drivers on brand new tyres, depending what they did in Q1. So we can see them all heading out to track. The 2 Ferraris, we've got Max Fiesel, Daniel Hjeltsen, the 2 Williams as well. All heading out onto circuit. So, yeah, after what we saw in Q1, I think we've got an even more interesting Q2.
Yep, and it's 15 minutes long with 15 cars, remember, to head out there. As lefted is circulating, there's Esteban Puki. Just got through by the skin of his teeth. He was 20th to get through. He went back up into 6th place at the end of the first qualifying. And now we've got the traffic going out there, but they're all going to head out there a lot quicker than what they did in Q1 because they've only got time for a few runs here.
Yeah, so we've got, I'm still board with Max Fiesel, nearly had a bit of contact there from my screen with one of the Ferraris, which wouldn't have been an ideal scenario. Very close as they head through towards turns 9 and 10. But yeah, I think it's going to be very exciting Q2. We've got the 2 Williams. I didn't really see where they ended up in the qualifying orders. I was trying to pay attention to who are cannons. Unfortunately, those 2 slipped through my mind. I think Ishmael got himself into around that top 5 and Will as well. I think he was around that P10 area. So a very good job from the Williams crew to get themselves through to Q2. As well, Koda Ngolo getting through for FVR. He was pretty much their man last season for qualifying. He got into Q3 on multiple occasions for the FVR team. Obviously, he's back at it again, and hopefully this time he can also get his car through towards Q3. Race Clutch as well, getting both their cars through. Sergio and Tamash, as we mentioned before, both brand new to the RC team. As the academy drivers, so very good job from those 2. And as well, Parnell making their appearance back after finishing 2nd in the championship last season. They've got both their drivers into Q2 as well with Daniel and Shimon. So, yeah, a lot of big names, I think, will go out in Q2 because everyone here, I think, has the chance to get through to Q3. So, obviously, 5 of them are going to go, 11th down to 15th. So, yeah, I'm very excited to see how it ends. And I think there'll be a lot of angry faces from many drivers.
Yeah, there is going to be as well. And of course, there's a lot of money on the line for this event. £750 to be shared by the 5 teams as well. And the E-Series prize pool has been funded by GT Omega. Of course, our wonderful chairs that we're sitting up here in the commentary box. Their Black Friday sale has 5% off as well. The link for all that is in the description of this video. So they are comfy chairs as well. And I'm loving that I'm back in the comfy chair watching these sessions as well. Because one thing the drivers aren't going to be in right now is feeling comfortable. Because they're going to have a very long 29 laps in those we just had out in the first session.
They are, definitely. I think even if you know you're one of the quickest drivers, you still got a lot of pressure on you, and definitely not going to be in a comfortable position, even if you're 5 seconds ahead, because one small mistake could lose it all. So, you know, it's going to be high pressure for all the drivers throughout the whole of this qualifying session, also throughout the whole of the 29 laps. As Ishmael Fassi's the first set of lap time, 28.067 for him, and we've got Daniel Yeltsin watching him. He heads back into the pit lane. Istvan Pukki's also coming at the final corner. We've got a few more as well. We've got Dylan Warren up into second. Istvan goes back into the pits. Max Wiesel set to 28.156. We've got Lefted as well. He's on a lap time coming through in towards turns 14 and 15. And remember, all these drivers probably are on a used set of tyres, so that's why they're a little bit further off what they should be and what they were in that first qualifying session. Lefted will set this lap. What will it be for him as he heads through towards the line? This will be 28.03. Who goes quickest there out of Ismail Fassi, just by 30 thousandths of a second.
Getting tense now, isn't it, as they come through? There's Lefted then. He is our new top dog. Still nothing to the 127s we saw in that first session, so everyone just warmed themselves up a bit, though, with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, and we've got Andre Monar on track.
Ah, here we go.
Yeah.
Dylan's done a flyer here. Let's get him on board into turn 9. He's 5/10 off his own pace, though, at the moment. And he's riding that exit curb a lot. He's just within the limits there, isn't he, as we see? This is Andre Molnar. Oh, no, we're back now. Lucky to be doing 2 different monitors as they come through. Dylan's snapping everywhere. As he's not. I'm abandoning him. You go, Richie.
Yeah,
Retake control.
I think Dylan finished that lap before it started because he's obviously only going to do the 1 lap before heading back into the pits. And I believe he was also on a used set of tyres, so we'll probably see a big improvement from him when we come through towards the end of Q2. Some drivers set 2 laps in Q2, some go for 3. So obviously that all depends on your pace. So obviously there'll be a few drivers in here which I think will probably do 3 laps in Q2. Some might only just do the 2. They'll do the 1 on the used and then 1 on the new tyres. Some of them might even go for just 1 on the new tyres. Chanakinchi, someone who could do that because he showed some great pace in the first part of qualifying. Topped the session with only 1 lap at the start of the session. Everyone else did 2 or 3. So he did a very good job to get that first lap in, and it was... Well, it was a banker, but it was more, it wasn't really a bank lap. It was more of a, a session-ending lap. Great job from him. So we'll see what he manages to do. We'll go on board with him as well as he's just heading through out towards turn 4. And Johnny Kinchi driver, I saw obviously in F2 last season, didn't have the best season at all, unfortunately. Missed, I think he only did about 3 or 4 races, but unfortunately never really got anywhere near the top in those sessions. So hopefully this is a bit of a turning point at E-Series. Obviously there's a lot more on the line, money on the line this time, a little bit different to the normal PSGL leagues, so it means you've got a bit more motivation to practice and try and get yourself back towards the top. So obviously we'll see. I think Chanakinchi, if he can do the same in Q1 as he does, if he can do the same in Q2 as he did in Q1, he's probably going to be my picker winner.
And you've been enjoying the picker winners, haven't you, as well, recently, up in the comms teams. So let's take a look then. It's going to get close now. There's Andre Molnar back on a lap time through the first couple of corners, uphill towards turn number 4. And the first sector time will be coming up. And it is a 28.429. 28.429. Very good opening sector there.
Yeah, very nice set from Andre Molnar. He heads through towards turn out. I think he had a bit of a slide there going into the corner, so that's not ideal. So as he goes down in towards turn 9, then into turn 10, obviously wanting to be careful on the breaks through here and also try not to slide too much on the exits, which can lose you a lot of time as well. As he heads through now with the DRS down in towards turns 11, 12 and 13. Going to break around that 50 metre ball, just slide the car in down to 4th gear, then get back on the power nice and late. Ride that exit curve if you can as you come through out of there. Then you come in towards turn 11, go to the inside. Ride that car to pull the car around, then you come through towards turn 13. A 106.184 there for the splits of the first and second sector for Andre Molnar. And we've also got a few people on that, but we'll keep on board with Andre as he heads through up towards the final corners at turns 14 and 15. And we'll see what the first lap on the new tyres will be in the session. A big slide, and that will lose him time. Luckily kept it valid through there. Good. That's probably lost him a 10th or 2. He goes quickest with a 28.018. And that, unfortunately, isn't much quicker than Lefted and Ishmael Fassi. We've got a few more drivers still on laps as well. Got Daniel Kjelsen heading through the middle sector. We've got Isam Puka through the first. So it's just about trying to catch who's in the best position on the track. As Max Wiesel gets a penalty for blocking, but obviously that's not going to be anything to go by, as we have the stupid penalties all the time in the F1 23 game. So if you've been here for a long time, it's nothing new at all.
No, nothing new at all. We'll just have to sort of smile and get on with it as well, as we see Tominski there down in towards turn 8. Nicely done through the hairpin. Now we're seeing Sergio Sabrino down the back straight. Oh, he's gone wide there. Look how much exit curb they take, riding across the line so that they can get their car sort of dead centre on the curb and still keep some track limits in together. Really is looking good. What's the middle sector? It's a 105.997.
Yeah, that's very decent from Tama. So that's a couple tenths quicker than what
Jensen.
Andre did. Jelson goes to the top with the 27.705, and then Will Lewis goes quicker by 2 tenths with a 27.527. Very nice lap there from the Williams driver. Got Sergio Sobrino. Can he try and build that lap from Will Lewis? No, we can't. He will go third, a couple of tenths off Will Lewis with a 27.769. We've got one of the Ferraris. I believe that will be Svampuki.
Tamas!
And Tamas Gal, that's a very nice lap at 27.4. Ace Svampuki goes third with a 27.5, and then Chanakichi yet again to the top of the timing boards with a 27.441. Lukomsky into the top 3 for Parnell. Very nice lap time from him. We've got Ikebuena going back into the top 3 as well for RHG. And yet again, RHG, Josh, looking very strong in qualifying.
Yeah, we saw that back in Qatar as well, didn't we, how strong they can be? So this is looking even better. Loving this qualifying session. Look at that, a 127.441. Tamas Gala, 127.465. Then we get Iker Beneo as well with a 127.495. They are so close together inside the same half a tenth. This is just going to get pretty. Courtney Gono, still no time set though in the Mercedes. As you take a look at Max Wissel coming down towards the last couple of corners as well. What's the time going to be for him? And goes up into 4th position. A 127.515 gets himself in the mix and splits that from PR.
Yeah, very nice there from Max Wiesel. He's only a couple of hundredths ahead of Lukomsky, and they've got Daniel just outside that. He's now into 10th, as that was, I believe, Lefty put himself into P8. So Sergio Sobrino currently is out of qualifying for race clutch, which is not an ideal scenario. Jan Halliday is still now out for test. Obviously, they've still got time to do more laps, but it's still not a scenario you want to be in because you've got more pressure on you to get yourself out. If you're in the top 3 in qualifying, there's a little bit less pressure. When you're in the bottom 5, you've got more pressure to get yourself out, but you need to get yourself comfortably out. Putting yourself P10 at the start isn't very good. You need to be getting yourself into the top 5, so if other people improve, you don't get dropped all the way back down into the bottom 5. So currently out of the session is Sergio Sobrino, Jan Halliday, Andre Molnar, Dylan Warren, and Koldun Ngolo. Koldun is heading down towards turn 13. Is he on a lap time? No, he's not. He's let off on that one. So, yeah, more surprises. We've got Dylan Warren potentially being out. We've got Sergio Sobrino potentially being out. Jan Halliday as well. Obviously, normally I'd expect him to be comfortably within that top 5, top 6, but obviously it just seems that everything isn't clicking with him at the moment. He's on 27.8, but he still has obviously one more lap to try and, well, 1 or 2 more laps to try and improve. 4 minutes left of the session, and we're getting towards this end phase where everyone yet again is fighting to get out. And I think this time, I don't know if anyone's actually comfortable enough to retire because it's not as spread as it was in Q1.
We're going to see this go down for a very long time now. This will go to the end of the session with a big one. Just a quick thing. Codemasters, we love your graphics. They are getting better and better each year. But I think your night, which was good at one point, has gone a bit rubbish again. Because there is so much what looks like fog in the track right now. It's quite hard to tell that we're commentating. Oh, and Iker Beneo has retired.
Well, so he could call it a bit early with the 27.495. He thinks that'll get him through in towards the third part of qualifying. Chanakinchi and Tamashka, we'll see what they do as well. I think, well, if Ika retires, I think those two probably will follow suit just to save themselves a set of softs. But I think if you're probably anywhere down that, you probably need to go back out. We've got, I think that was Dylan Warren heading out onto circuit. We'll have a look. No, it's not. It was Dylan Warren heading out onto circuit, or this Van Peek, one of those two. We have got as well, I believe, one of the Alpha. No, it's not one of the 2 of the Alpine. So, no, is that? Yeah, it is. No, it's not. I don't know who it is, but it was one of the blue cars. So that's one of 6, whichever one it is. And it was Tamashkal in the end. It was. He just didn't head out the pit lane in time. So Tamashkal's out on track along with Chanakinchi. So those two don't think that they're put 4 safe. Ika thinks different.
Yeah, and there's a lot of cars heading out there in the same part of the track, and they're all just getting a little bit too close to each other. So this is the toe that they want, but it's not allowed, the slipstreaming. But if they happen to end out in the same part of the track, well, it's not organised. It's within the rules. It's just frowned upon.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I believe that slipstream is just not allowed at all. And I can understand why, because it can gain you so much time. And, you know, if you're not going to team out through into Q2 or Q3, that puts you at a heavy disadvantage, which is out of your control.
I'm just checking Article 27.1 and 27.2 of the E-Series regulations, slipstream. Giving a tow to any driver is prohibited in that case, the towing driver and the towed driver may be both penalised, and drivers catching slower cars are allowed to move into their slipstream. So you can't purposely give the tow, but if there's drivers who are on a cool-down lap and you want that tow, you can have it. So it's a grey area that they exploit here by going out together, slowing up, and then, oh, well, I was just going for a push lap. There's somebody else ahead of me. I mean, it what nothing to do with me, Gov. Nothing to do with me. Hands up, you know, all clean.
Yeah, and I'm sure people will try that, but let's hope they don't. And we have
They
Will
do.
Lewis
They do.
heading through towards turn 1 Williams, currently in the top 6. His teammate, Ishmael Fassi, isn't in the most comfortable position. He's in 9th with a 1 minute 27.693. So if you're anywhere 6th or 7th up, you need to have a vast improvement probably in this session, I think, if you want to comfortably get yourself through towards Q3. So we're on board with Will Lewis heading through into the first sector, coming through towards turn 8 at the hairpin, and he's down. That is not ideal at all. He's on a 0.5, so he's still in to Q3, but with the improvements from some of the drivers behind, I think that could put him at a bit of a disadvantage if he doesn't improve.
Turn 9 and 10 locks up on the front right as well. You can hear the tyres screeching, so that's going to cost him a little bit of time. Down the hill, DRS open towards turn 11. This is where you see the second sector really shape up nicely. Flicks you in as well, and you just want to carry more and more speed uphill. You become greedy with it as much as you hug the inside curb to tow you around the corner. Leave it too late, it snaps you in, and he's actually gained that time back. He's now 0.027 inside his time. He was 27 hundredths off in this sector. He was 97 off in that first sector. So this is better now for Will Lewis. He comes into the last corner. Checkered flag is out, Richie.
Yep, so he comes through towards line. We'll see what Will Lewis could do. Can he get himself a little bit further up the grid? He's currently in P6. What will it be for Lewis as he heads to the line? It will be P4 with a 0.513. We've got still many drivers come through. Chanakinchi doesn't improve. He came towards the line. We'll look at the Ferraris. We've got Dylan Warren. He's currently in P14. We'll see what he can do.
Across the line.
As Andre's out of the session with P13, Sergio goes into 9th. That might be a bit close. That could mean he could be out because that isn't a very comfortable time. Dylan Warren goes through to 3rd. He's out of qualifying. He's through in towards qualifying too. Tamash Gal goes quickest with the 27.250. A very nice lap time there from him. Not just trying to catch who's through. We've got Daniel Yeltsin. He's out of qualifying in P11 for Parnell. Ishmael Fassi, can he get himself through? Can he go second fastest? That pushes Race Clutch Sergio Sabrino out.
Halliday's run off the track at the exit turn 13. He hasn't invalidated the lap time, but he rode the curb too much.
And that, I think, puts qualifying finish.
Oh, he's off.
So, Cordon N'Golo only managed 13th. So out of this session, we got Sergio Sabrino for Race Clutch. We got Daniel Yeltsin in 12th, Cordon N'Golo in 13th. And it was Jan Halliday in 14th and Andre Molnar in 15th position. So we'll look at the classification shortly, and you can see what happened there. So 3/10 separates the top 10, unfortunately. Sergio Sabrino missed out of it, along with Daniel Yeltsin by only about 0.5 of a second. So through to qualifying 3, Tamash Gal, who went quickest by 1.5 tenths with a 1 minute 27.250. Then we have Ishmael Fassi in 2nd, Max Wiesel 3rd, Chanakinchi, the 2 Ferraris 5th and 6th. Then we have Ika Bueno, the 2nd RHG driver, in 7th. Then we have Simon Komsky, Will Lewis, and Lefty through. So Lefty got himself through to Q3 for SRC. Very good job from him indeed to make it through in the Aston Martin there and through into Q3. We got both the Williams, both the Ferraris, and both of the RHG cars. Unfortunately, only one Race Clutch. So the only esports team to not get through both drivers into Q3 is Race Clutch. So big shame for them indeed.
Q3 is going to be so important when we get going then. Top 10 shootout. Fantastic. Really can't wait for this one.
It's going to be great. I can't wait to see what happens in Q3. We'll see as well all the drivers that are through, because I've probably forgot a couple of names. There's that many to look through. You can see on the time board in about a couple of seconds on the left-hand side all the drivers that are through to Q3. So we've got Lefted, Max, Isfan, Chan, Simon, Ika, Ishmael, Dylan, Will, and Tamash Gal all through into Q3. The top 10 shootout, 12 minutes. You've got pretty much 2 or 3 laps max in this session to try and fight for pole position. And yeah, I think we've got a very, very exciting Q3 ahead. I think every driver in here, maybe bar 1 or 2, has shown pace to take pole. It's just about who can get it right at the right time, and also could also be down to who gets their lap time finished last, if you want the best track evolution as possible.
Yeah. So 12 minutes, 10 drivers, maximum of 2 runs in this session. And they're all going to leave until around about 8 minutes to go, I reckon. And they can go out, do a lap, come back in, 4 to go back out again straight away. They know their setups by now. They know exactly what they want. And now we're just going to be in that procedure of having a lull. This is where I wish we could have a word with them on track. Do you know what I mean?
Would be interesting indeed. But let us know in the chat, everyone, who you think will take pole. We've still got 10 minutes to go, and we'll ask you again when we come towards the final runs of Q3. But for now, who do you think will take pole position? I don't have a clue, but based off Q2, which doesn't always mean anything, I'm going to say Tamashka will take pole. I know that Q1 and Q2s don't always mean everything, but I think Tamashka's got some great pace. He's a driver I've seen rise through from F4 to F3 to F2. I've got my eye on him, and I think he'll take pole. What about you, Josh?
Well, Andre here says Tamas. We see who is coming through. IRT_Frank says Tamas. PSR Max says Max. Ian says Max. Kappa says lefted as well. All looking good. CK Crowley, Tamas coming in. So the chat responding. Nicholas says, let's go Dylan as well. So there's all sorts getting ready for this one. And look, no cars out. Yes, there is. Stand corrected, looking at the screen. Ismail Fassi and Will Lewis, the two Williams, is going out together. Oh, don't plan a slipstream. Do not plan a slipstream. It's frowned upon. That's frowned upon.
Well, they head out on track together, side by side towards turn 4. No battling here, just qualifying. They're going to just sit there side by side in towards the corner.
TV viewers.
Yeah, and Williams will launch because it's a great pitch. So if you can get a picture on the screen, that would be a perfect time to, as they both headed in towards that corner together. And they're still going to have that formation through towards turn 5 and 6 as well, in towards
Williams
this
like
bit of an Essie section. And
surprised Ferrari aren't out there doing it as well.
Yeah, well, it'd just be nice that Williams were this quick in real life, because in esports they're a very quick team. In real life, not so much apart from Alex Albon. So, you know, it would be a lot nicer if the esports sometimes will go into real life, because we see a lot more competitiveness at the top.
Sargent scored a point though in Austin.
Yeah, but that's session. 1 point. It's not much, is it?
Yeah.
Max has got what, 400? It's a big difference between first and 20th.
Max is it over? What was he now? 466 plus the 25.
Something
plus
like
26. He's around about 490, something like that.
Wow.
Off the top of my head. Max now is.
We've got another Max in here. We've got Max Wiesel. So maybe he can do what Max Verstappen does in the Red Bull, puts it on pole, gets a victory in the first race. Obviously, in PSGL F2, he's also in the Red Bull. In Japan, he took pole, I believe, and he also won. So maybe, you know, the stars were aligned for Max Wiesel and Red Bull. Could be it could be TF10's turn to take a victory here for the first round of the series season. But the two Williams are out on track. They're heading down in towards turns 14 and 15. Ismail Fassi will be the first one to set a lap time in this session. He's heading down towards turn 1. Josh, give us a bit of a lap attack with Ismail Fassi.
Down to turn 1 then, you'll be in maximum 8th gear as well, over 320 kilometres as you come onto the braking zone. Really fly it in, hard on the brakes, down to around about 3rd gear. Don't use too much of the entry as well, otherwise you'll lose it through 2 and 3. Up in 5th gear already as you open up the DRS, hit 6th gear, 7th gear, hold it there because you reach the braking zone for turn 4, quite hard, uphill, 3rd gear corner, but we're seeing Ismail take it in 4th actually, up to 5th, 6th gear, using so much ERS, you're already down to 65% by the time you get to the first sector delta point as well, and that was, I can't see it on my screen because it's disappeared on me, unfortunately, it was a 28.483. Up now towards turn 9 and 10, really hug the inside line, try and keep it as much as possible to the braking zone for 9 and 10. Double apex, of course. Sometimes lock up, sometimes you hear it, so just keep yourself calm. And remember, do not lose any of the time with the DRS open. Into sector 2 now as well. Your time's about to come up. Fly it through at the exit. 5th gear corner. Taking it was very wide there. That's going to lose him time. Bad exit out of 11. Too much curb at 12 as well. Coming to 13 to 106.094. He's lost a lot of time there, Richie. And it's messing the exit as well. So he's now chasing time. I reckon it's going to be in about a 128.1, maybe a 128.0 coming out of that sector. Definitely not as fast as we've been thinking. Out of the last corner, gets a little bit of a drift at the back, so has to control it again. DRS over to the line, 26, 27, 27.8. Picked it all up in that last sector. Very quick end of time.
Yeah, Wilder's got his quickest. I missed him just by the fraction of a second. He did 27.652. Ikabaya's invalidated. We'll see what the other archery driver of Chanakichi is up to. He's kept it within the track limits heading down towards turn 14. And on my screen, he's got a purple middle set. So we'll see what time he can set on the board. We've got Sabre, it was Tamas Geltalan. He goes quickest there with a 27.160. Obviously, some drivers on the used tyres. That's why he's so quick there on his set. So Chanakichi goes 18 thousandths behind Tamas Gal, lifted into the top three with Van Pookie in fourth. We've still got a few drivers left to come through. Max Wiesel, what can he set in the Red Bull? Up to the line for TF10. We'll go third with a 27.232. We got Dylan Warren, he's also heading through towards turn 14 and 15. Lukomsky as well, he's just heading down in towards turn 1. So we'll see what Dylan Warren can do in towards turns 14 and 15. Obviously, he could be on the used, could be on the new. We'll see what he does at the line, whether he's on new or used tyres. His teammate in fifth with a 27.6. Dylan Warren goes to line with a 27.381 to put him into the top 4 and onto the second row.
So Iker's backed out of his lap time, by the way, so he's out of it. Looks like Lemonsky as well into turn 8 looking okay. So, okay, good sectors at the moment. Lot still to be worked on. But with I can't tell how long to go because the yellows are out. It keeps about 5 minutes 20 to go on the clock. So yeah, they've got to be quick. A lot of traffic now, and Lemonsky's just in the middle of all this traffic. He doesn't want to be as well. Gets a little bit of slipstream, but not that much. Oh, and he's missed shifting. He's backed out, I think, Richie.
Yeah, he backtakes, so I noticed he's on about 4% battery going down towards turn 11.
Yeah, he's lost it all.
Yeah, that's not going to accommodate you to turn 15 at all, and then towards the line. We've got Ikebana trying to get through on one of the Ferraris there. Needed close to contact. Both the Williams have just entered the pit lane, so they'll be looking to head out back again soon on the new tyres off the 27.8 and 27.6. Those are on used tyres in this session in Q3. But Tamas Gal, at the moment, is on our provisional pole ahead of Chanakinchi. Those two. Chanakinchi top Q1, Tamas Gal top Q2. These two looking very, very strong. So now it's the time to let us know in the chat who you think will take pole position. Also let us know if you want to be a bit more specific what time you think they will set in qualifying. Josh, Isa Tamoshgal, who do you think will take pole in Q3?
Kind of Kinchi might just take it. It's quite close.
That's fair. We'll see what happens at the end. Those two look the strongest at the moment. They're both in the 0.1s. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. And Salute also in the chat says a 0.9 pole. That would be a very big improvement. I believe it was a 27.0 for pole in PSGL F1 back before, but I don't remember fully. I think it's just somewhere around there. So, yeah, maybe a 26.9 is possible, but we'll see as we come through towards the end of qualifying. We've got about 4 minutes left to go, so very shortly we'll see a few drivers head out on track, and then in the next 2 minutes they'll all be out on track, and some of them on their lap time, some of them still on their out laps. So the issue that drivers will face is they don't want to get into traffic too much when it comes to starting their laps because they want to leave it as late as possible, of course. But if there's 5 or 6 cars going in towards turn 14 together and they're going to be at risk of not going through, to set their time before the clock hits 0, that could cause some issues and that could cause a bit of contact, and that's, something that I don't think is likely, but it's always possible.
3 minutes to go then. Just waiting for the end of this qualifying session to rumble through, and we get our grid for the first E-Series race of season 2. Tamas Gal 127.160, Kanakinche 127.178 as well, and cars heading out onto the track once more. Will Lewis first out there as well for the Williams.
Yeah, and he was the first out earlier on in the session as well. For the start of Q3, he's currently on a 27.652, half a tenth back from Van Pookie, and about 5 tenths back off pole, but he's on new tyres, of course, so that's why he's lost so much time. So we'll see what Williams can manage at the end of this session. Obviously been part of Williams, I think, for quite a long time now. He's he's a staple of the community, I think, at this point. I've seen his name for a long, long time. I think even before I started getting involved with esports, which is around 2021 era. So he's been here a long time. He's, one of the oldest, but he's not as old as Max Wiesel. Obviously raced back in IRL, I think in 2008, 2009, into the Super BMW Championship or something. He's currently age 33. So that is why people will know him as the grandpa of F1. And he told me in the chat earlier not to say it, so that's why I've said it.
Making friends again, are you, Richie?
Well, I wouldn't say it's making friends, probably more enemies, but, we'll put that to bed for now.
I'm staying clear of him after the stream.
Well, he gets enough praise from me in F2 when he wins, so, he gets something. But, yeah, Will Lewis out on track. He's looking to be the first one to settle that time. Everyone else, you can see all down towards turn 8 and turn 9 altogether. Hopefully we get no contact between any of them and, people getting a bit misjudged with braking zones and all that, because that is something that can happen quite commonly, because none of these drivers can talk to each other apart from their teammates.
Yeah. So track limits become issues, track position becomes issues, and now they're only going to get 1 lap to set their time. This is the crunch point, everybody, and Will Lewis hits pedal to the metal, to quote George, and away we go, down towards turn number 1. So, using already 15% of the EOS battery before you even get into the braking zone for turn 1, now 25%, recharging about 3 of it, misses the apex by a country mile, picks up some debris at the exit of the tyres as well. DRS open, scruffy first sector for Will, didn't like that. Uphill towards 4, can he drag it in nicely? It's the apex, gets on the power, much nicer through 4. Might have saved a bit of time there. First sector, yeah, look at that, 2/10 down, all carried from turns 1, 2, and 3. Carry it now towards turn 8, downhill 4th gear, uses a bit of engine braking to change down to 3rd, back up the hill, 9 and 10 coming in, flicks the car in, 6th gear, hold it back, now watch it drop all the way down to 3rd gear. Now back on, slowly on the power, DRS active, 50% of EOS battery power as you come towards the end of the second sector, using all the available track as you flick the car in towards turn 11, rise up. Now through 12 and 13, really hug the inside line. Now second sector Delta Point, he's managed to gain those 2/10 back. So, checkered flag is out. Will Lewis, can he take anywhere better than 7th as he comes across the line for our first run? Behind him looks to be one of the alphas, so it'll be Ica as well. Just behind him, we'll swap to next. Will Lewis to take the checkered flag. Does he improve from 7th only to 6th, the 127.5? Ica is indeed the second car behind. Then it's the second Williams of Ismail Fassi. So Ica in the second sector is into the last corner. He's going to pick it up now with some delta time. Gets back on the power. Now, he's not got a time, neither is Lemonski at the moment. So Ica Benea's time to begin with puts him 5th, the 127.4. Here comes Istvan Pukki as well as cross the lines. There goes Tamas Gal to pole, 127.024. Brilliant from Tamas. Coming across, left it goes 4th. Istvan Pukki to 2nd, 127.102. As we see, still more coming across the line. Kanakichi takes 2nd. Oh, by about 20 thousandths. Brilliant. Max Vissel currently in P4. Can he do anything across the line? No. Dylan Warren, he's the last across the line in P8 across the line. Did he change position? Answer will be 4th. It's Tamas Gal on pole position for the first race of season 2.
Absolutely amazing ending to qualifying there. 23,000 separating the top 2, and it is Tamas and Chan. Obviously, I said Tamas, you said Chan Akinci at the start of the Q3 session.
23.
So I'm one up on you already, Josh, when it comes to the qualifying predictions.
Yeah,
Then we've got the 2 Ferraris sitting in 3rd and 4th. We've got Max Wiesel in 5th, and we've got Simon Komsky in 6th for Parnell. Very good qualifying result for him. Then Ishmael Fassi in 7th. Lefty in 8th, Ikebana in 9th, and Will Lewis in 10th. Obviously, Will lost a lot of time in that first sector. If he didn't lose that time, which was 2/10, he would have put himself into the top 7. So big shame for him to be there in 10th. But Tamas Gal and Chan Akinci, hats off. Very good lap times from you two indeed. A 27.0, the only 2 to do a 27.0. So a very good job. But Josh, we have a restart before the race. So we have a bit of time now to look through some of the rosters.
Yes, we do. And there are quite a few of them. So I think we're going to start with Williams, aren't we? Is that the first one you said we were going to go to?
We will. Williams at the top. So you can see there, they've got Alvaro Caraton, obviously Williams driver, esports driver. They've got Ishmael Fassi, Will Lewis, those 2 are racing today. We've got Valentina Bruffair, and then Yannick Schmidt in their team. Then we've got Ferrari, they've got Istvan Pukki, Tomek, Dylan, Mirko Camagnoni, yet again another very strong team. Strong, a lot of strong drivers in their lineup. Then we have Race Clutch, they've got Tamas Gal, Sergio Sabino, Andre Tarikin, Lillian Debecourt, Kevin Banas and Andres Lopez. Lillian and Kevin, I don't see too much around, but they're still very quick drivers. And obviously, they've got Tamas, Sergio, and Andre, very, very quick. Obviously, Tamas and Sergio, the ones racing here tonight in the first round. We've got HG, they've got Ike Buena, Matthias Van Erven, Jos Nord, Alexander, Chan and Valentine. Yet again, another very strong set of drivers. And that is all of our 4 community teams. And Josh, we have Tier 10, which is the 5th team.
Yeah, Tier 10 coming into it as well. I wish I could see, but my screen's frozen on your side. So sorry, as we come into it.
I'll continue. So they've got Max Buildup, who made his return very recently. They've got Matthew Alder, Leonard Gertz, Paul Eckelmeyer, and Oscar Villacampa. Paul, he's a driver that I didn't see much last game, but this game is completely rose through, and he's got some very good pace. I believe he's an F2 reserve this season, so he's a very quick driver.
We've had Oscar commentate on us
yeah.
before, yeah, so he's very quick as well. Max Vissel, of course, need no introduction coming to it. Leonard Gertz, we've had before, both in E-Series and in an F3 session as well, but now looking at TF Sim Racing.
Yeah, then we have TS. They got Frank Moraviak, Nelson Alves, Jan Halliday, Theo McKee, Jona Tritkov, and Modesto Menemy. Josh Noyano from a long time back in season 30 at F4. Jan Halliday as well, back when he used to be known as Peso. So, and a bit of nostalgia for this team, TS. And also they got lots of Nelson, who was in challenges along with Jan last season. Modesto, would rather that was around a lot on F122. This game, yet again, I haven't seen much of him at all. And obviously he isn't racing yet, so hopefully we'll see him on the grid sometime this season. We've got Pono Racing. Bit of a weird story. Shut down, reopened. Different roster, very nice roster. They've got Lukomsky, Liam Stevens, Daniel Yeltsin, Richard Jacobs, Timmy Zelenkiewicz, and Kai Pearson. Obviously, those 5 there I've seen a lot this game. Kai Pearson, I believe he was from the Xbox side, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. I remember seeing them a couple of times, actually, in some other leagues.
Yeah.
I've commentated on, yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I don't know what his name was on the Xbox, because I don't know anything about all the Xbox and PS gamer tags, because I came straight to PC. I didn't bother with Xbox and PlayStation, so hopefully we'll see him take part in a couple of races this season as well for Parnell. Then we have SRT, John Evans, obviously Aston Martin driver for esports. We've got Leroy Brown, Louis Welch, Conor Muir, Joe Hannon, and Jack West. Yet again, a very another strong roster, and hopefully they can finish higher than 8th in the standings this time. But remember, they did finish ahead of RXG Academy last season, so maybe a lot more on the cards for them this season. Then we have Vroom, who a team I didn't really see much at all. I've seen their name, but they've never really took part in a league this big as these. They've got Andre Monar, Jeremy Golinier, Corey De Bacca, Anthony Bourguignon, Tristan Debecourt, and Boris Sakasek. Obviously, not having the best start. One of them out in Q1, one of them out in Q2, which being Andre and Boris. So hopefully they can try and fight something back in the race. And finally, we've got FVR. Took part last season, unfortunately finished at the bottom of the standings. Yet again, they were shut down. Reopened with a very Spanish roster and have put themselves into E-Series and, well, comfortably into E-Series. I think they qualified third overall with Coldorn and I believe it was, I don't remember, I think it was Javier at the time. So they got obviously Javier, Coldorn, Nardi, Javier Quinto, Alvaro Fernandez and Tobias Koivunen.
Yeah.
And, well, that is all the roster. Sorry to cut through it quickly, but I didn't know how much time we had between the race and
Lobby's
between
up.
calling the race. So I just wanted to go through it quickly. Obviously, I believe the rosters are on Twitter, and they're also in Discord. So if you want to have a little bit more of an in-depth look, head over to Twitter and Discord. You'll see it there. And we've got pretty much everyone in the session. So waiting for 3 more to get in, which means we'll start the race very soon. We've got to wait for one of the RHGs and the 2 Williams. So that is Ika and Will and Ishmael to get into the session. Then we're underway. A lot of talking happening there, but we'll have a bit of a break while we listen to an ad from our sponsors at GT Omega.
Ready to go for the first race of the season, and fingers crossed it's going to be very, very close as well. Sorry about not having the camera on to begin with. I don't think you wanted to see me wiping with a tissue. I was just sneezing in between the ad break as well. We've got an electric heater directly below me in the commentary box, and it's blowing up your nose as well as with the pollen count coming in. So then, Richie, who do you think is going to win round 1? I will stick with Kanakinche.
Last week with Tamashkal. Qualified first. Can take the victory. I think it's a fair bet. He's done a great job in qualifying also. Watching through F2 last season, also the start of this season. A driver which I think probably next season or the season after. No. 2024 or 2025 could be looking at being in esports. I think he's had such a rise through the ranks. I remember him, Josh, you'll probably remember him, back in season 31 in F4. And at that point, he only took one decent result, which was a P3 in Imola. Apart from that, he was never really in the points. And now he's fighting with the top of some of the esports drivers. He's been in, I believe, made a couple of appearances in F1 last season. He's made appearances in WR Tier 1. He's a very quick driver, and I think he's probably one of the young talents, along with the likes of Dylan Warren, and trying to look for, you got Sergio Sobrino as well, just to name a couple, which I think, all have chances in the future of getting themselves into the Pro Series. So obviously, when you have series like this, it's a good time for teams to look at the drivers and think, right, this driver's been looking quick. Maybe we could give him a shot in the future, or maybe we could try and sign him to our academy roster. Because remember, 6 of the teams are community teams, not esports affiliated.
Yeah, So I think in just 3 games, 21, 22, and 23 when we were there. And maybe even 2, because I think wasn't season 31 actually on F1 22 off the top of my head. I think it was, wasn't it?
I think.
3 seasons on 22, yeah. And then it's all confusing. But we're just getting ready for the start. 2 more waiting in. And I think it is still the 2 Williams drivers who are having some issues to get into the lobby, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
So just waiting. Reminder about the prize money. Yeah, reminder about the prize money to come into this one. Just let me catch my breath. £750 to be divided between the top 5 teams. So it will go from 325, 200, 100, 75, and £50 as well.
Yeah, it's for the top 3, you got a lot of money at stake. For 4th and 5th, not so much, but it's more than, if you keep yourself consistently in the points, you'll get yourself in that 5th and 4th in the standings. Then it's a nice £50 to either reward to use for the team or to reward the drivers with. But that 325, if it's one of the esports teams, that's probably not as much as it would mean towards a community team who don't have a lot of money going to it. Community teams, there's not much money involved. So for them to be able to win £300, £200, that would be very good for their roster. They can use it to retain their drivers. They can also use it to maybe get some new resources and try and get some more drivers into the team. So I think it's a lot of money, which can definitely help one of the smaller teams a lot. Is it likely that one of the smaller teams will win? Probably not, because the esports teams have got a lot more put into it. They've got a lot more time spent, all that. But still, the chances that you don't know what's going to happen. Absolutely anything can happen when it comes to PSGL, especially in F1 23. And I was just saw a comment in the chat from Maloom saying, do a dab. No, I'm sorry, Maloom, but I'm not going to do a dab. I'm not prepared to get bullied on Twitter. So unfortunately, I'm going to decline that offer. But nothing saying you can't do one.
Me? No. Did that on the wing of Silverstone at a World Endurance event, and I only was told afterwards that I almost knocked my iPad off the side of the Silverstone wing into the pit lane. So,
wow.
Best not.
Wouldn't be ideal. Definitely not ideal at all. And, well, hopefully we can stop waffling on soon, because we've got all the drivers in the session. 29 laps ahead of us for the Bahrain Grand Prix first round.
Yeah, they could really hurry it up, couldn't they? I mean,
they could.
It should only take around about 90 minutes, ideally, to complete this. And they do like taking their time.
Well, when it comes to safety cars, we never want safety cars. No. But let's know in the chat, do you think we'll get a safety car on lap 1? Because, it's the first round. Nice. A lot of drivers might be just trying to get to grips with with their rivals. So let us know, do you think we'll see safety car until lap 1? I will say no, for the sense of we don't want to have safety cars on lap 1 of a professional esports race. But we never know what can happen. So let's on the chat, everyone, if you think we will get a safety car. I don't think we will. I'm sure Josh also goes along with the fact we won't. But,
we won't.
Nothing's gonna, we're not gonna stop you from thinking what you want to think.
I just hope we don't have to have a lobby reset again, into after we get this one done for the race. The grid's been set and we are ready. Yes, countdown's on.
Finally, we'll go over to the main screen so you can stop looking at our faces, which is something you'll probably definitely want. And Maloom says not lap 1. Okay, so you think there will be one, but just not on the first lap. So the first lap chaos isn't enough for a safety car, Maloom thinks. But, we'll see what happens. All the drivers getting readied up now to get in towards the session. We've got about 5 seconds left, on the clock. And then we have the awkward stage, Josh, of there's no countdown anymore. So you've got to just try and waffle on until you see all the cars on the grid.
Oh, right. Thank you, Codemasters. That is always the best bet, isn't it? They removed the one thing that was useful for the commentators. That's the first time I found out about that. Okay, then. So, no more countdown. Brilliant.
No. So, guesswork. Sometimes you wait 10 seconds, sometimes you wait a minute. So, it's all how the drivers want to treat you and how quick they sort out their strategies and all of that jazz, all the main technical stuff that we have no clue about, because that's the reason why we're commentators, because we can't race. Yeah. And I'm sure that a lot of people will be happy with that, because I get told a lot by friends of mine who are a lot quicker than me and are probably quick enough to be in these lobbies that, I'm a bad driver. So they'll be happy with that. I'll admit it.
Right, loading in, ready to go. So, the first round of the second season of the PSGL E-Series is about to get underway. 8 rounds across 8 weekends, starting here at the Bahrain International Circuit in Shakir is the local region. £750 on offer. It's going to be for the top 5 teams, 10 in total, making up the 20. Over 50 drivers on rotation. It's a Constructors' Championship. And we're going to have 29 laps ahead of us, which is going to be great.
It will. And we're still waiting for the starts. We can see all the pit crews and all the drivers. And then we'll see what tyres to select. Do you think we'll see hards, mediums, or softs, Josh, at the start?
I reckon we'll see hards at the beginning, and then we'll see softs at the end. I think it's going to be a very interesting run around this track. Hopefully someone takes the medium to soft gamble. That could be an opportunity if you want to go fast early on. No one will take soft at the start. No, I don't think we'll see that. It's not the type to risk all in all at the beginning. So we will see, but starting on the hard tyres, as Charles Leclerc said back in Mexico just a few days ago, it's going to be weird, it's going to be bad, and it's going to be carnage, and it certainly is as well.
And we're still waiting because the drivers are taking their time with their setups and I presume also talking to their engineers, thinking what they're going to do for strategy. All that comes into play, and all that, that extra 10 seconds they went, Josh,
Here we go. Lights are on. Round 1, season 2 is under starters' orders. Action in Bahrain. Great start from Tamascal. He comes across Kamakiche down towards turn number 1. Tamascal has the lead, but somehow Kamakiche gets back ahead into the brackets on the side by side. That is so tight between them. Can Kamakiche? Yes, round the outside. Fantastic move. And Tamascal down to second. There's a spinner already. That's Lemonski in the middle of the track having a spin. On the inside is Van Puki trying to have a go. Ismail Fassi coming up side by side. Spinner at the back. Will Lewis down to 18th position. Kanakiche leads. Tamascal second. Ismail Fassi up to third. And Esteban Puki down to 4th position. And there's Iker Benaya on the inside of Max Whistle trying to make a move. Side by side, the Red Bull driver has the opportunity and has the power as they come into 9 and 10. Tamascal under pressure from Ismail Fassi.
Yeah, and you can see some Chan, Iker all on the soft tyres, so they'll be looking to push through the likes of Isvan, Max and Tamash as quick as possible to make these soft tyres work. Ismail Fassi goes into the top 2 after starting P6, making that soft tyre work very well on that opening lap. Will Lewis, unfortunately, went from moving to turn 4, 3 wide, didn't quite go to plan, dropped all the way down to P19, but he's still within that train of the whole field. A bit further back, we've got moves happening, but I want to focus on Iker Bayana, looking to get himself ahead of Max Fiesel to put himself into the top 5 on the soft tyres, of course, gets himself ahead, side by side, down in towards the final corner. Does he get himself ahead? Yes, he does, comfortably into 5th position now for the RHG driver, and RHG in a very good position, currently sitting 1st and 5th. We've got Ferrari as well, that some go off track a little bit wide further back. I think that was lefted maybe, heading down towards turn 1, and you can't see anything because of this fog, so you just want to guess, just trying to look through who's where. Ikebana gets 4th position ahead of Pookie. Lefted side by side with Koldon and Golo in towards the braking zone for turn 1, and we'll see who gets ahead then. I think it will just be about Koldon, but it's Letter will try and send it, but couldn't do so down towards turn 3. So yeah, we consider lots of Matthew also probably get through as well in towards lefted shortly. A bit further up, we got Seeker Bayana yet again, looking to get himself ahead of time. He's got to put himself into 3rd.
So hard to tell exactly where we're going, but yeah, that's great then. Tamascal holding off. I think I saw as well, we saw Matthew Alder dropping down the order. He's back up to 11th position, but Jan Halliday down to 17th position. Louis Welsh back up into 13th place on the start, so very quick there. Javier Domain up into 14th place, passing the TS of the McLaren in the Nelson Alves as well. And quite a lot of strategies. I'm surprised about that actually, as we keep it with Ike. Oh, and that's Iker Benaya ahead of his time Pookie already. But check out the strategies. Look at that. Kanakiche, Ismail Fassi on the soft, same as Iker Benaya, Matthew Alder, Will Lewis, Nelson Alves as well. Then mediums only for Cornelie Golo and Javier Domain as well. Everyone else on hard. So we've got a complete strategy gamble from everybody. And Nelson's down to 18th place.
Yeah, big show there for Nelson. Not sure what happened. I think he went a little bit wide, got into turn 11, bit of contact maybe. Dropped all the way down to P19, as well as Andre Marnard dropped down to P17 on that opening lap, so he's lost a lot of time as well. But we go on to lap 3 now. The DRS is enabled shortly down towards that first corner. Ikebana, though, without DRS and slipstream in towards that first corner, sits behind. Tamas Gal obviously wants to use that DRS advantage rather than being ahead of the hard runner. They're 1.9 seconds back from the top two, being Ismail Fassi and Chana Kinche. Isfan Pookie also sitting comfortably in this battle. You'd say the ones on the hards, if they can keep themselves within that P, obviously got Tamashgal in P3, got Isfan maxed in, and they're all in a very good position being on those hard tyres, because it means they can go to softer tyres at the end and be a lot quicker on that final stint. The ones on the softs now, you like, so the top two need to push away as quick as possible. Ika, you'd think would want to get through and push away, but I don't think he can get through on Tamash and then break a second. I think that would be asking quite a lot from him. So he's going to have to sit behind, but it's not the most ideal scenario. It's decent, but it could definitely be better being on those softer tyres.
Chana Kinche and Ismail Fassi now 1.8 seconds clear to Tamascal, who is under pressure, is causing a little bit of train because Akabanea is so much faster than him on the softs. But Esteban Pookie is keeping up. As we've been watching, he's on the hard compound tyre as he comes through 12 and 13. And he's just on the back of Ica as they head down again. Think we're going to see Tamas start slopping back. Starting on the hards is so tricky. That's why we saw Chana Kinche and Ismail Fassi get the launch up towards turn one. But Esteban Pookie under pressure from Dylan. He's under pressure from Max Whistle and Dylan Warren as well coming into it. Look at Sergio Sabrino at 8th place. Quarterly goalers up to 9th.
Yeah, very nice indeed, as Ismail Fassi takes the lead.
So Ismail Fassi takes the lead, and we got Chana Kinche in a battle as well down there. There's Tamascal, Akabanea, and Esteban Pookie still in 3rd, 4th, and 5th, all changing over. So it's going to be another slipstream run up towards turn number 4. Here comes Max Vissel, trying to look on the inside line, just cuts in front of Dylan Warren. And Tamascal holding at the front, but there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars in a train now. Maybe more.
Yeah, they all want to get through, but they also don't want to cause too much havoc down towards the corner, so they're all backing off at the entrance of the corner, which nearly has caused Dylan Warren to end up in the back of Max Fist, because that was very close between those two in towards turn 4 as well. We had a bit of contact, I think, between Ika and Tamash into turn 1, because I think there was a bit of a tap on the back of the race clutch driver heading through towards the first corner, but they'll make it through safe and sound. The gap now between the top 2 and 3rd is 2.2 seconds, so that gap slowly increasing. Obviously, in about 4 or 5 laps, the soft will probably start to dive a little bit more, and then it will allow for lots of Tamash, Isfan and Max will close in, probably get ahead of Ika, and then start to close into the top 2. As they head down in towards turn 13, Will Lewis getting himself up into the top 13 now, so he's starting to make that strategy work a little bit more after having that incident down at turn 1. He's still 3.5 seconds back from Daniel Kjelsen, however, so he's got a lot of pace to use on that soft to get himself ahead, and for him, we'll probably still be looking for a top 10. Given his pace is very good compared to some of the drivers, he should easily be looking to finish there, as that's also Chana Kinche taking the lead. And we've got a bit of a battle down towards turn 1. Look at these three. We've got Ika Bayana to the outside. We've got Isfan Pookie to the inside as they head into the braking zone for turn 1. Who will come out ahead? The 3 wide in towards that first corner through turn 2. And surely one of those is going to come out to the bottom end, and it will be Tamashgal, who drops down to P5. Very good job from those guys. Ika Bayana into the top 3. Isfan Pookie does pull alongside in towards turn 4. Will it be Isfan ahead? It will be Isfan ahead. Then we've got Tamashgal looking to go back up the inside at turn 5, and they make it through. But we've also got Max and Dylan as well sitting behind in this battle, as that's also Max Fiesel looking for a move on Tamashgal in towards turn 6. And do we see him moving to turn 8? Yes, we do. To the inside line for Max. And that was a little bit far-fetched.
This is fantastic stuff. Tamascal really struggling on those hard compound tyres, but Esteban Pookie taking the best of it. And now here begins the train. Contact! And Tamascal gets a shove from Max Vissel. Through goes Dylan Warren coming into turn 9. Just a little bit strange. Sergio Sabrino in the RC and the LP coming through on the inside line. Late on the brakes. That's going to be tight. Did he make it through? I think he just did on the inside line. And this is brilliant. Max has to back out of it. Sergio Sabrino picking them off one by one, waiting for his turn. Dylan Warren right there. But Tamascal, without a doubt, the luckiest driver right now, completely sideways coming out of turn 9.
Yeah, big shame for Tamash, and that could have ended up in a big spin, and could have ended up in dropping all the way down to the bottom of the field. But luckily, still keeps it into P5, and still is the second driver on the hard runners in this field. As we head down towards turn 1 again, it's Sergio Sabrino out in Q2, comfortably in the top 10, but he's under pressure yet to get from Max Wiesel in towards that first corner. So do we see a move between the two as they head in towards the braking zone? I can't see, but I think might have been a send. No, a little bit too far back, but also a bit of contact there with Colton Ingaro and Matthew Alder for P9 and 10. Heading in towards that first corner now, we might see a bit of a run up towards turn 4. Do we see an overtake? We do. Matthew Alder to the inside. Can he get himself ahead? As that's also Yeltsin looking to put himself through as they head in towards the braking zone. Yeltsin around the outside. It's the Red Bull at the inside of tier 10, Matthew Alder, and they go side by side. Still, is it enough for Daniel to get through? No, it's not. He has to back out there in towards the braking zone, and they left it in a good position to look what's happening and try and get himself through if he can. He's looking for an outside move over there on Daniel, but a little bit too far back in towards the braking zone. But a very interesting opening few laps, and well, if that's the action we get now, I can't wait to see what happens at the end.
Look at Louis Walsh. He was running in 11th place. He's dropped down to 14th and out of this little battle. So he's been dropped massively. Not that we can see much as well. Massive problem with the Codemasters game here as well with that. Can't barely see a thing as they come into the braking zone. Kana Kinche's back in the lead of the race though. He's got ahead now and he's right with Ismail Fassi. Those two running together. They've put out 2 seconds. Istvan Pukki is in a run with Ika Benea, Tamascal, Dylan Warren, and you know the rest.
Yeah, there's a lot of drivers involved here as well. Jan Halliday's looking to get himself ahead of Louis Welch down towards turn 14. Does he have a good enough run? He might do, actually. He's got a great run out at turn 13, up the inside into turn 14. Jan Halliday looking to put himself into the top 14. Unfortunately, was out in Q2. Now putting himself into the top 14. Ishmael Fassi takes the lead again from Chana Kinchi down towards turn 1. Yeltsin and Matthew Alder still fighting in towards that first corner. Do we see him move back up the inside of Matthew? No, he can't. So he gets overtaken by Daniel, but unfortunately, he doesn't have a good enough run to try and get himself back ahead in towards that first corner. That was also Louis Welch still fighting with Jan Halliday down towards turn 1. All this, so you got the two Hasses, you got Lukomsky as well, all involved with this little battle down towards turn 4. It's Louis to the inside, Jan to the outside. Can he make a move around the outside? No, he can't. Has to back off for now. But leading this trend is Will Lewis. He's 4.5 seconds behind. Left it, unfortunately, he's not really gaining much time on that pack. So these soft tyres could start to slowly start dropping off.
Yeah, it was the wrong tyre to start on. I'm surprised. Oh, there goes the McLaren on the inside. Jan Halliday sending it for Louis Welsh and making the move stick. And Louis trying to get the cutback, not working. The two Haas cars under pressure with Lemonsky, and he split them now, Lemonsky. Andre Molnar. Oh, and Porras is back ahead. Never mind. All changed as they come down on turn 10 once more. And there we see as well, again, I think Kana Kinche right in the back of Ismail Fassi. They are just running together. Ismail made a little bit of a mistake, but these two battling in the front, it's going to allow Istvan Pukki to close up. But Richie, this is a great fight no matter where we are. Look at now the top 5 in this little battle as you're putting on your screen. We've got Istvan Pukki holding everybody up, and here we go now. Ika Benaya is a little bit too far back, so watch Tamascal. He's on the hard tyres, and now they're going to start coming towards him, down towards turn 1. Tamas should get this move done.
Yep, as we come through towards that first corner, do we see a send from Ika? No, we don't. Tamash also a little bit too far back in towards the braking zone. Turn 1 has a bit of a slide. Tamash does out the exit, though that could leave Dylan Warren in a position. And a big slide from Tamash Gal. Dylan Warren now up to the inside. Can he get himself ahead of Tamashkal in towards turn 4? They go to the inside for Dylan Warren, up to the inside. Also, someone's having a spin further back. That's Lukomsky, I think. Down a bit further than that is now. Tamashkal still going to fight it with Dylan Warren through towards turns 5, 6 and 7. Tamash does keep it ahead. Can Dylan send a move in towards turn 8 though? Has he got a bit of a poor exit, Tamash dad? Tamash did in towards turn 7. No, he couldn't. So still, great effort from Dylan Warren, but that's now put them outside the 1 second.
Yeah, that's separated this little gap now, hasn't it? You're completely right. So that's going to live to fight another day. This is getting tense. I can barely see a thing on my screen, Richie. It's like we're watching something in the 1970s and the Daleks have just exterminated someone on an all X-ray. Can't barely see a thing. But those are the soft tyres becoming a liability. Will Lewis has dropped down 4 places, by the way, on this lap alone.
Yeah, down to P15, unfortunately, for Will Lewis. And the softs, I think, are slowly starting to drop off because you can see Istvan Pukki now down to 1.7 seconds behind Ishmael Fassi and Chana Kinji. So it won't be too long, I don't think, before those soft tyres start to think about a pit stop. I think the pit stops will probably be around lap 10, 11, but obviously we'll see what happens as we come through in towards that pit stop phase. Will Lewis now down to P15, fighting me and Halliday. He puts himself into P14. Then back down towards turn 1. Ishmael Fassi takes the lead away from Chana Kinji down towards turn 1. We've also got a bit more battling further back. We've got Ikebana going side by side here enough with Istvan Pukki towards the braking zone. Backs off, you see, he just wants to sit behind and keep that DRS advantage as they head down towards turn 4. And do we see a move from Ika as they head through? He's going to gain, but it's not going to be enough to make an overtake as Jan Halliday puts himself into 13th ahead of Louis Welch. So he's starting to slowly try and get back up the field after that poor qualifying session, and still Nelson Alves had to make a pit stop. He's on 5-lap old hard, so I believe him and Javier must have got involved in some contact as they both made a pit stop onto the hard tyres. But I want to look at this battle a bit further back with Jan Halliday and Louis Welch, because they're still going side by side in towards turn 6. Jan has to back off. Bit of contact nearly, a bit more of contact so they come through. Now Will Lewis in this battle as well, along with Andre Monod, tried to send it around the outside of the Williams as they come through. And it was a great send, but a little bit too far-fetched there from the Vroom driver in towards turn 9, as they just couldn't get themselves ahead of Will Lewis. But a lot of determination there from him to try and get himself ahead into P15. We've got Louis Welch as well, who's still under pressure from Jan Halliday. But look at that gap. 13th to 12th, 8 seconds.
Madness,
that's a large gap.
And no safety car either, and we're yet to have a pit stop. It's 9 of 29 as well, so they are pushing insane at the moment. It's from picking, by the way, 1.6 to 1.5, so it's fluctuating. There goes Halliday on the inside of Louis. Just caught him napping at turn 13. Louis is now going to be vulnerable as well to Will Lewis as he comes down towards 14. The two Haas cars right there as well.
Yep, as they head into turn 1, into turn 14. Matthew Alders in the pit lane on the soft tyres. So we still see Cabana there. He was looking for moving to turn 1, but a little bit too far back to get himself ahead of his one pick on that occasion. Matthew Alders, yes, into the pits. Will Lewis ahead behind, of Andre Molnar. Louis Welch now. He's still ahead of... Actually, there's a lot of fight going on. We'll see what's going on. Look at this into turn 1. Full wide pretty much into there. So we've got Will Lewis into P15, Jan in P14, Andre Molnar's into 13th. Now he made that work, and Louis Welch also 6/10 ahead of them all as they head into the braking zone at turn 4. Jan Halliday looking for a move around the outside on the Vroom driver. Can he make it work? Yes, he can. Great move around the outside, but the Vroom driver, Andre, has still got a bit of pace to give him in towards turn 6, but yeah, a little bit too far back. So Jan Halliday into the top 13. Very nice move from him, but that gap now is 10 seconds between P12 and P11. It's helping Lefted because he hasn't got to worry about those behind, but it's still quite a big gap.
Will Lewis is having a great little lunge as well. He's trying to go around the outside, coming into 9 and 10. It didn't work out, but good attempt, good attempt.
Indeed, great attempt from him. So we look a little bit at the top, and we can still see Cabana 2.5 tenths back from Istvan Puka. That gap 1.7 seconds between P2 and 3, so it is slowly coming down 1.6 now as they head down towards turn 14. But they do gain the top to about 3 or 4 tenths when it comes to that DRS. That's the thing that, you know, they're saving grace in this race at the moment, that DRS advantage down towards that first corner. So we kept 3.5 tenths back. I don't know if he looks for me. We'll see if he does. He's heading down towards turn 1. Tamas Gal sitting 7 tenths back. Maybe he scrubbed his tyres a little bit too much after that side-by-side contact into turn 10. Chanakincha takes the lead from Ishmael Fast. Istvan Puki stays in third as Ikebana isn't going to make a move in towards turn 1. Bit of a lock-up there from Istvan, and that nearly put Ikebana into the back of the Ferrari driver.
Time penalty for Matthew Aldo as well. 3 seconds for track limits. So that's a disappointment. And is that's Iker? He's up. It's side by side. I think no. Istvan Puki stays in third place. The computer didn't know what to make of it. It almost looked like ghosting to me on my screen. But Istvan Puki stays third. Ghosting's off, by the way, just to let everybody know. Just glitching on my side of the stream. And how is Iker not passing on those softs? They've gone dead. Istvan saving his tyres. But Tamas Gal should be higher than 5th.
Yeah, I think the thing is, with the advantage of the soft set at the start, and no one's really keen to make overtakes now, there's no point losing yourself time making an overtake at this point. There's no point he could gain ahead of Istvan to then end up getting re-overtaken by Istvan a lap later because of the DRS. He'd rather stick behind in the DRS, save a bit more battery, and also in a way you can nurse your tyres a bit more. You haven't got to push ultimately to get yourself ahead. You can just sit behind, nurse your tyres as hard, so probably still a little bit slower at this point. So still, Ika can, you know, use a little bit less, and then obviously Tamas and Dylan behind. They're not close enough to make a move, and they're not going to risk sending a 2/10 dive on because there's no point. Because you don't really gain anything apart from a risk of ending up spun red at someone, and also a lot of time will be lost. Saying that's the last thing you want, especially with those top two, Chen and Ishmael doing a great job at the front. You don't want to lose any more time.
And here we go again, side by side down towards turn number 1. And I think Iker's going to... Did he get ahead? Yes, I think he did, didn't he? They're side by side, and Iker gets ahead in towards that first corner. Quite hard to tell, they were glitching. So Iker now back ahead of Istvan Puki. That was not supposed to happen on those soft tyres.
So great job there from Iker. Obviously, sometimes if you're in a position where you're a little bit close to the car behind, you can make that overtake just so you don't lose that car position behind. Otherwise, you'll just lose too much time. So it's all, you know, it's all about that car placement and, you know, how close you are to the car as you're heading towards the braking zone at turn 1. So Jan Halliday to P12 ahead of Lou Welch, splitting the two SRTs now. SRT lettered in 11th and Lou Welch in 13th. And still, unfortunately, we've got Nelson Alves still at the bottom with Javier Domine. Well, Lewis has entered the pit lane onto a set of mediums, so he's the second of the soft runners. Matthew Order went onto a set of hards. Will Lewis onto a set of mediums. He will take those to the end of the race. So it won't be long, I don't think, before we see the top 3 pit, because that gap has come down quite dramatically. It's 1 second, and Istvan Puk is sat behind in all of this and has let Ika use all of those tyres to gain onto the top 2. But I think at this point, Ferrari and RHG are in the best position. Second and third and fourth and sixth.
Yeah, indeed. Just let them use their tyres up and save your own. It's a long way to go on those hard tyres as well. And they want to go to softs at the end as well. Don't think anyone's going to take mediums. And into the pit lane is Iker Benaya. That's why he made the move on the last lap.
So he's making that move into the pits, so he can go to a set of, I believe it will be medium tyres at this point. We'll see as he comes into the pits what tyres he will change over to, but I believe it will be mediums. Then he'll come out, probably. He wants to come out ahead of this train, but I don't know if it will be enough. It won't be, will it? As they come through.
Oh, it was a long stop, but yeah, through
just
goes
behind that train.
Yeah.
It's not ideal, is it? You don't want to be behind that train, but he just obviously didn't have enough time ahead of them, heading in towards that pit lane. So we'll come out behind this train, and hopefully they don't really fight too hard. Otherwise, this could be quite bad for Iker Benaya to try and, fight with the likes of Istvan Tamas and Dylan at the end, who will be on soft tyres, and also who will have pitted a lot later. So we've got Andre Molnar in the pits as well. He's onto a set of mediums. Will Lewis as well, heading down towards turn 1. He's still quite far back off this train. So big shame for him in this race. Just really hasn't worked out to his liking at all. That incident down at turn 4 completely ruined the race for him. He also then got hold up in that train with the likes of Louis. So he just lost a lot of time there. He's trying to Kinchi back into the lead ahead of Ishmael Fassin towards turn 11. And that gap there you can see. So Pukki just on the edge of a second as they head through and towards turn 13, turn 12, turn 13. There we are, 9.5 tenths of a second. So surely he'll be able to get himself into that DRS for turn 1, which I believe it will be the first time this race that the hard runner has been able to get themselves within a second of the soft runner. Bar Ika, who did make that overtake. So they head through towards turn 14 and 15. Do we see the top 2 pits? Let's see, we do. They're both heading towards the pit lane. Both Ishma and Chan.
Tamas in as well. Now, that's interesting. He was on the hard tyres. Now, what's he going to do? He can take the mediums to the end if he wants, but Tamas Gal playing the alternate strategy.
Yep, so pit stops for the top 2 on the softs now means Ferrari are leading first and second. Istvan Puk ahead of his teammate Dylan Warren on that 14 and 29. So just a remember, Josh, started in P11, he's now up into the top 3. Obviously going to be taking a bit more of an overcut strategy on this occasion. Max Wiesel as well in the top 4.
Have we seen an overcut here? Trying to work it out. Where did they come out?
Ika's got a great overcut, hasn't
he? Ika's done it brilliantly, yeah. What's the gap? A tenth.
1.4.
Ika did it. Ika did it. Yes. So Iker Benaya has got the net lead of this race, I reckon.
Yeah, but we all know that the undercut in this game is very strong at the start. But then when you come through, that 1 or 2 lap tire offset can actually harm you quite a bit when it comes to the end. So we'll see what Ika's able to do. If he can try and keep that gap quite high, maybe he can still, defend that position from Chan. And Chan also won't be fighting too hard. Their teammates, they don't want to, be in a possible first and second, or maybe a first and third in this Grand Prix. Remember, you've also got the likes of Istvan and Dylan, who were well in this train. They still got a pit, so we'll see where they come out. They'll probably come out.
Ika's making move. Ika's up to 10th. Sorry to cut across you there, Richie. Ika's up to 10th. He's making moves now. Would a safety car help him or hinder him at this point?
A safety car would hinder him, I think.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I was just trying to think, working out with tyre strategy as well. But he's in a battle with Louis Welsh at the moment. He's in 9th position. He's got so much more power compared to those medium tyres. And he's through. Even without the DRS, down towards 13. Ika's up to 9th. Louis can do nothing. He's absolutely powerless.
Yeah. Your 13 lap old hard versus 1 lap old medium, that is not going to go in the hard driver's favour. So then towards turn 1, Jan Halliday now in the top 8. He's going to not really defend too much to Ika, as Ika's just going to go to the outside line, pull himself ahead, get himself to P8.
Contact! And that was Louis taking a massive slipstream, and he nearly made contact. He did, and now he's side by side with Ika, and that was Jan Halliday almost pushing Louis Welsh towards the pit wall. That was unbelievable stuff.
Oh, that would have been an ideal scenario at all. But now, Ismail Fassi, he's at Jan Halliday, trying to Kinchi as well behind now. He wants to get himself quick through on the TS driver as quick as possible, and Jan moves out the way. He doesn't want to fight too hard with those at all. That is not his battle. Let them through. Good day. So down towards turn 8 we go, and that's Ismail Fassi on the inside of Louis Welch, and that was a big send there on the SRT driver, looking to get himself ahead. Does get himself ahead, and now Chana Kinchi, does he make a move in towards the inside at turn 9 10? Yes, he does. To the inside of SRT, Louis Welch gets himself into P10 and still comfortably right behind Ismail Fassi. That could have ended in tears for Ishmael, because that was a very late send down in towards the braking zone at turn 8. And we also got Matthew Alder ahead of Jan Halliday. We've got Tamas Gal now ahead of Lekomsky down towards turn 11. They go, so next for Tamas Gal it will be Louis Welch, who I think will probably will start to pit soon. These hard runs will probably go into the pits in around the next 2 or 3 laps. And, well, you can see there Tamas Gal pushing Louis Welch through the corner out of turn 13, down towards turn 14. Dylan Warren takes the lead from his teammate, Isvan Pookie, down towards turn 1. And then you can see up the inside goes Tamas Gal, then up the inside as well goes Lekomsky on Louis Welch. And those two go side by side, and they're on the same tyres, and Louis Welch off the circuit. Then at turn 14 they go, and there they go 3 wide down towards turn 1, because Matthew Alder also involved in this battle as well. Obviously, he's got the penalty, so he's going to drop down quite a few positions either way. But still, a lot of battling down towards turn 1, and Louis Welch seems to be the centre of it all.
Yeah, Louis really dropping it back. Not anything to do with the controller, just tyre wear. 15 laps compared to everybody else on newer tyres around him. Sinking faster than a brick tied to cement being thrown down a well.
It's turn 4, Matthew Alder around the
Look
outside.
at that.
Great
Wow.
move. You can just see how much more grip Matthew has on those newer hards, puts himself into P12 ahead of Louis, who will be probably on his way into the pit soon, because he's a lot slower, with the likes of Lekomsky and Jan Halliday as well in this battle, as Andre Monar gets himself ahead of Nelson Alves to put himself into P16. But I'm keen on seeing when these top 3, top 4, top 5 decide to go into the pits, because they're all in good positions. And obviously, don't be surprised when they drop 6 or 7 seconds back, if that's the case, because that overcut does, you lose a lot of time in the pit stop. Because obviously you stayed out longer on those older tyres, but when you get yourself onto a new set of tyres, maybe if it's mediums or softs, you'll gain so much more time a lap on those battles, on those drivers ahead. So, I think we're going to have a great last lap battle between the likes of Iker, Isma, Chan, and then obviously the likes of Dylan and Isvan. I think we've got a very good ending on our way.
Do not leave the room. This is a very entertaining race. And it is flying by as well. It's what we like about it. But look at this at the front. 5 cars all together, waiting for pit stops as well. Waiting for possible safety cars to come in and have a play, but I don't think they're going to. So we've effectively got about 3 Grand Prix going on right now. And Connolly Golo just going to try and run it with the hards as long as he can, but he's on mediums.
Yeah, he's doing a great job sticking with these medium tyre runs. Obviously qualified in, I believe it was P13, P14. So still, in the top 6, is in a decent position for an overcut. I think he can probably finish higher than where he started. So you just got to keep it clean and calm on these next few laps. So Dylan Warren still ahead of his teammates on Pookie, Sergio Sereno in the top 3 as well. For Reyes, Clutch, Tamas Gal, his teammates down in P11, but he obviously pitted. He's on 3-lap old medium tyres. He's on the back of Chana Kinchi, who's on 3-lap medium tyres as well, who's actually dropped outside that 1 second to Ishmael Fassi. So he's lost a bit of time. He's made a mistake somewhere, because he was a couple tenths back earlier on. Now he's 9 tenths back. So this is a key time for Tamas Gal to try and gain in on the Kinchi and put himself into ahead of the RHD driver. Remember, Ikawana still leads. 1.4 seconds between him and Ismail Fassi. That battle also will go down to the wire.
Looking good, this, isn't it, as well? This is a tasty opening race for PSGL E-Series Season 2. Just watching Kana Kinche in 10th. Ismail Fassi 7 tenths back. Hello, pit stops are in. Esteban Pookie, Sergio Sereno, Max Vissel in. Oh, and Connolly Golo.
Yeah. So they're all in the pits, and Lefty stays out. Daniel stays out, and so does Dylan Warren stay out.
Soft!
Yeah, that's a bold one. You can take those 11 laps because the others did, but you're going to be under a lot of pressure when it comes to the final part of the race. Mediums for everyone else, so you can see lots of Isvan Pookie will come out far behind Tamas Gal because he's took that overcut strategy. Matthew Alder moves himself into the top 8, Louis Welch into the top 9, and now this could cause a bit of trouble. We know Louis Welch has been involved in a lot of battles this race, and now he's ahead of Isvan, Sergio, Max, Kodorn. This could get tasty, and also losing the position to be helping his teammate. Lefted, he's 3 seconds back from the top 2. He's still going to make his pit stop. He'll come out 3 seconds-ish behind these guys, Isvan, Sergio and that. So he will want to be hoping Louis can hold them up. Louis did that the other night in F2 PC for Max Feasley. It's worked well, and he's doing it yet again. Down towards turn 8 to the inside line. It's up at the outside for Istvan Pukki. Can he make that move right in the outside? No, he can't. Bit of contact between Sergio and Istvan towards the braking zone at turn 8, and still side by side through and towards turns 9 and 10. And yet again, Louis Welch performing some absolute great defence as they head through towards turn 10, and still Istvan's going to have the DRS down towards turn 11. Sergio Sobrino also sitting in this battle as well to get himself involved, to get himself ahead of the Aston Martin driver. Obviously SRT, Louis Welch, side by side to turn 11. Round the outside goes Istvan Pukki. Now up the inside for Sergio Sobrino. Max Feasel also looking to get himself involved. Need a bit of contact between Louis and Sergio and towards turn 12. Dylan Warren into the pit lane. Daniel Kjelsen into the pit lane. And that's also this side of Connor N'Golo in towards turn 13. Has to back off there. That could have ended in contact, and I think it did end in a bit of contact as well. But we head down towards turn 14, and Dylan and Daniel Latour is perfectly. They're going to gain a bit of time because of all this holding up from Louis Welch. Left it stays out on these tyres, and now Max trying to get himself past the bollard of Louis Welch down towards turn 1. Pulls himself to the inside line, gets himself that move very nicely.
Dylan's leaving the pit lane now. He's going to be down to turn 1. He's not going to get ahead of Matthew. He will come out ahead of Istvan Pukki though. And there's all sorts of drama in that first corner. It's all getting a bit too close for comfort. Side by side, we see Louis Welch under pressure. Daniel Jensen, we're watching a 3 wide further back. He's on new tyres. Not going to get anything at the moment from Daniel Jensen. He loses out. Through goes Connor N'Golo. Louis Welch right down to the back.
Yep, and Louis doing a great job of defence there, has saved his teammate probably a lot of time there. Now, look at that. Dylan Warren paid off that perfectly because he's ahead of his teammate Pukki. He's on older tyres. He's ahead of Sergio, Max, Codon, who are all on older tyres. Dylan is in the best position so far. Ikeban is leading. Yeah. They've got about 10-second gaps at the lead, Dylan Warren has, but he's on 5/6 lap newer tyres. He's in just such a good position now. That's Dylan to the outside of Matthew Alder into turn 11. That, I thought was going to be in contact because that camera was a bit weird. The camera angle was heading towards there, and now we'll see. Dylan Warren will probably make the move down towards turn 1 with that DRS to get himself ahead, and also Istvan Pukki is well involved with this. Obviously, the two Ferraris looking to get themselves ahead of Matthew Alder. Matthew's got a 3-second penalty, so he will also lose a lot of time. But you can see Dylan push him down. He just doesn't want to pass. He wants that DRS. Left it in the pits now. So we head through towards turns 14 and 15. Dylan Warren going to get a great exit on better tyres. He's on a lot newer tyres than Matthew Alder to the inside line with that DRS down towards turn 1, and it will be Dylan Warren ahead. Now Istvan Pukki as well, looking to follow through, and also Sergio Sobrino looking to follow through on Matthew Alder in towards turn 1. Now Hayman is doing McSee going through. There'll be 3. Oh, nearly hitting his teammate. And Vissel straight through as well. Obviously, that would have been coordinated between the two to let Max Vissel through. Bit of battling behind. This is in towards turn 4. The leaders. It's first for Ismail Fassi. Tamash going second. That was actually Tamash off the road. Down at the exit of turn 5. Through Ismail Fassi's lead and ahead of Ika and Tamash going in third. Obviously, Ika's on the worst tyres out of these 4 in this battle. Chanakinchi also sitting involved in this battle for the lead. Dylan Warren, 6.6 seconds. He's got to gain the next 9 laps on these top 4. He's going to easily do it because they're 5-lap old tyres. So they're going to lose a lot of time. But all this battling as well is going to leave Dylan Warren in a position to just gain 3, 4, 5, 6 tenths a lap. Even more possibly as they head down in towards turn 11. Chanakinchi sitting in 4th behind Tamashkar, looking to get himself ahead. And the key thing for RHG is they've got 2 of their drivers in this battle. They can really work to defend against Ishmael, try to attack Ishmael Fassi and defend against Tamashkar.
Let them cook. Let them cook at the front because this is going to be perfect for Dylan, who has got the best strategy. He had the best pit stop. Now he's going to have a go as we see Chanakinchi having a little look on the inside of Tamascal. Ika Benea trying to have a go at Ismail Fassi. All is blowing up. As we come across the line once again, it's going to be a sea of DRS. That's turn 1. And Ismail Fassi is going to be feeling completely left out here in the party. Side by side towards the braking zone. It's going to be late on the brakes. It's 3 wide at one point into the braking zone. Tamascal in a battle with Chanakinchi. And Tamascal comes off a 3rd position round the outside and shuts the door. Can Ika get anything back on the front? No. And Chanakinchi can't do anything. It's brilliant. Williams from Alpine. And Alpine, Alpha.
We'll get it right. Alpha, we got OHG in race clutch, makes it a lot easier, Josh, than Alpine and Alpha. So, 4.6 seconds is the gap between Istvan Pukki and Chanakinchi. Obviously, those two swap round Dylan and Istvan. That gap has come down by 2 seconds in this lap and a half. That gap is fun down because all this battling is really not helping them. And now, once these catch up, there's going to probably be a bit of contact because you've got 8 cars involved in a battle for the top 3.
Yeah, Esteban, as you said, he's passed Dylan again. So when did that happen?
That happened down towards turn 1, I believe. They would have just swapped round.
Right.
And we could see it probably happen again because that gap came down, but just not down enough. So they'll just stay behind each other as they head through and towards turn 11. But the gap, 3.8 seconds. That gap is coming down astronomically now as they come through and towards turn 13. And we can see Chanakinchi looking yet again on the back of Tamas Gal. And then literally, as Chanakinchi come through, you saw Dylan Warren and Van Perky come flying through as well. As you can see, the Ferrari's in the background as the RHG and the Race Clutch and the Williams head into the final corner to begin lap 22 and 29. 7 laps remaining. Istvan Pukki and Dylan Warren collectively gained 2.5 seconds on the past lap and a half. This lap is going to be nearly 1 second as they head down to turn 1. So Ikebana to the inside. Can he take the lead as Dylan Warren gets past his teammate? That would have been coordinated between the two. So they're heading to turn 1. No changes for the lead between the top 4. That gap now 2.8 seconds. Josh, this is going to come down probably to lap 23, and it'll be Dylan Warren at least trying to fight and get himself ahead. If not, he will be ahead.
Ferrari playing it right here with those strategies as well, getting it together. Ismail Fatih's going to be feeling very much hunted right now. He's got 3 other cars behind him. He's about to have another 7 join the party. I would not like to be him right now, but he's on fresher tyres compared to Ika Banea, as you said, Richie, might just start to feel the pressure here. He's got the oldest tyres of the entire top 10.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one indeed, and well, Colden Nigolo, I don't think that strategy has worked how he would have wanted because he's now in P10. He's unfortunately not really gaining much on the back of those at all, but the gap between Dylan Warren and Chanakinchi, 1.9 second, 1.8 second, 1.7 seconds, 1.6 seconds as they come through. 4 tenths gained in that one corner. So the sector 2 is really helping these newer medium Tyrons versus the older Tyrons. You can see on board with Dylan Warren, you can literally see Chanakinchi just ahead as they head down in towards the braking zone. I think this is the last time that Dylan Warren or Van Perky will be outside of the train for that top 4. We've got Sergio Sereno as well sitting in 7th as well as they head down towards turn 1. And now we've got to hope these top 4 don't lose each other time in towards this braking zone. They're all 4, 5, 3 tenths apart from each other. So luckily no moves being made for those as that will lose them time. Sergio Sereno looking for a move to split the 2 Ferraris into turn 1 they go. It will be his fun to the inside of Dylan Warren. It's going to be the outside line for Sergio, but a contact in towards the first corner between those two as they head through. And still they're going to be Dylan ahead of this one, ahead of Sergio. 1.3 seconds in the gap between Dylan and Chan. Josh, the next lap, I think Dylan will be in that DRS.
It's 1.4 at the moment. That little battle down to 1 didn't help, but this is absolutely spectacular. Chanakinchi is having a right old attack at Tamascal, and that's going to give Ismail Fassi a little bit of breathing space because Ika Banea is the linchpin in the front of that little battle with 10-lap-old tyres. So now it's starting to come up, and he is 6 tenths. Here we go. He's in the DRS zone. We have around about a 9-car fight for the win here.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. Dylan Warren now 3 tenths behind Chanakinchi. Into the braking zone at turn 11 they go. And you can just see how much speed that Dylan can carry through compared to Chanakinchi. They come through in towards turn 12. And you can see Dylan have to take a bit of a different line. Does he go to the inside? Yeah. He does go to the inside at turn 13. P4 for Dylan Warren. Absolutely great move there to put himself into the top 4. Now his Van Perky will also be looking to try and get himself ahead of Chanakinchi. Down towards turn 14. Backs off. Doesn't want to make the move just there. He would want to make it down towards the braking zone at turn 1. Now Dylan Warren is on a charge down towards that first corner. Tamas Gell under a bit of pressure as they come through. The DRS hasn't opened and Dylan Warren's already on the rear of the Alpines. They head through. Inside line for Dylan Warren. A little bit further back we can see his Van Perky looking for a move on Chanakinchi. Down into that first corner. 3 wide behind. 2 wide for Dylan Warren and Tamas Gell. And Dylan gets him ahead and that's also his Van Perky nearly round. He's going to drop down to P7 in that battle. So he must have made a bit of contact there with Chanakinchi in the braking zone. Dylan Warren.
He's on it towards turn 4. He's going to have the inside line. And Ika Banea just goes to block ever so slightly. This is amazing stuff. And Ismail Fassi now going to really try and hold it together. But utter disappointment for Istvan Pukki just getting the tap out of turn 1. And Ika Banea trying to go with the inside of Ismail Fassi. Oh, this is great racing. And Dylan's got to get ahead now. Into 9 and 10. Thinks about a lunge on the inside line. Can't do it. Istvan Pukki passes Chanakinchi. Ika Banea can't get ahead of Fassi. Dylan's got the DRS on the run down towards turn 11. Can he find a way through on the inside line? No. He's saving it back. And it's almost 3 wide further back between Pukki, Vissel and Jensen. And Jensen passes Vissel. And Vissel's gone down to 10th. Conley goes back through. And here comes Dylan Warren trying to go around the outside of Ika Banea. Coming through turn 13. He's got the run. He's going to try and have the inside line. Even without the DRS, he might gain the lead by turn for it. Into turn 14. Late on the brakes, can't do it. Nearly loses his front wing trying. Tamascal gets back in. Down the straight we go. Ismail Fassi beginning vulnerable. He's going to go. And without the DRS, try and block. Here comes Bonner. Here comes Warren down towards turn 1. Icon blocks the inside line. It's 3 wide. Ismail Fassi on the inside line. He takes the lead of the race. Icon's trying to get through. He doesn't work. Dylan Warren takes second position. He's side by side. And Dylan Warren takes the lead. Oh boy. Fantastic. Fantastic. Icon Bonner second at the moment. In towards turn 4. And he's through. But goes wide. Here comes Tamascal trying to come back through on the inside. That doesn't work. Dylan Warren leads. Wow.
Absolutely amazing. Last lap battling. We got Sergio Sprint on the back of Tamascal. Tamascal on the back of Ismail Fassi as they head through out of turn 8, down towards turns 9 and 10. And still, the gap between Ikabaina and Dylan Warren is about 0.8 of a second. So now, Dylan's in a prime position to get himself out of that 1 second and put himself easily into a position to win. He won in E-Series in the round in E-Series Season 1. He's going to look to do it again in E-Series Season 2. As they head into turn 11, the 2 race clutches and Tamas and Sergio also looking to make their way through. I think Sergio will probably be in a position to get himself ahead of his teammates to try and charge after Ishmael and Ika, who are in P2 and P3. So I think at this point it could be possibly Dylan Warren, Sergio Sabino, Istvan Pukki podium, because the amount of pace that these guys have got over the others is a lot more. So they head down in towards turn 14, and you can see Sergio there just popping to the inside line as they head through. Going to sit behind his teammate for now.
Wide. Ismail's gone wide, very, very wide, coming out of the last corner. So that's not going to go well.
Right, they head down towards turn 1. Ishmael Fassi under pressure from Tamascal. And also, we've got Sergio Sabrino surprisingly not going through move on his teammate. I thought they would have let Sergio Sabrino through when he's teammate, because Tamas is going to start to be a lot slower than his teammate Sergio. And also, we've got Istvan Pukki sitting behind him. Daniel Kjelsson as well, who's been sitting in this battle, not really getting involved too much, just sitting there waiting for things to happen. He's in the top 7. And Max Wiesel unfortunately had that incident. He's dropped down to P10 and he's at that DRS to Chana Kinch. So not a very ideal scenario for him. And TF10, of course, have got Matthew Alder in P12 with that penalty. Nelson Alves back into the pit lane on his hard. He'll go into a set of soft tyres to take those to the end. So we head down to turn 8. It's still Sergio behind his teammate. We've got Ishmael Fassi in third, Ika Bayana in second, and then Dylan Warren leading. And still, Ika's got himself within that 1 second of Dylan. Dylan needs to try and push hard and get that 1 second gap exceeded. Ishmael Fassi still outside the 1 second gap to Ika, so now this is a good position for the 2 race clutches to try and get themselves ahead of the Williams and put themselves into Ps 3 and 4 as we head through towards turn 11. The gap 1.1 between Ika and Ishmael, so Ishmael's obviously made that mistake down at turn 14 last time around and just hasn't been able to get himself back on the ground and put that pace onto the back of Ika Bayana.
He's just lost out so much time as well, so it's put out the 1.3. Now, Ismail won't have the DRS. Tamascal should be able to get through. But as you keep saying, Sergio Sprino, Istvan Pukki, they're right there to capitalise. They're the next ones to move forward in the train. We're running out of laps here, though. So here we go for Sergio. Should have the DRS, should do a double move down to turn 1. Gets in the slipstream. He'll line it up nicely. Same time, Tamascal's going to have a go at Ismail Fassi. And look at that, a double toe down to turn 1. And Sergio takes 1. Does he take 2 in the braking zone? Just a bit tight. Sergio stays 4th. Ismail's trying to get through. Hasn't worked. So Tamascal and Sergio, the 2 teammates, working together there. And now Tamas, I think, should let Sergio through so Sergio can go after Ika and have a go at Dylan.
So absolutely great job so far from Sergio. We finished P11 in qualifying. He's up to P4 equal as well. Made a great job throughout the race. Dylan Warren as well. We know he's always one of them. He's always really good in the race and he's making it work so well so far. He's got himself 2 positions ahead of there's 2 positions between Dylan and the next car on those nicer tyres, which will be Sergio Sabrino on 9-lap old mediums, the 2 in between Ika and Tamas on 14-lap and 13-lap old mediums, so they are considerably slower. So we'll see shortly if we can get Sergio Sabrino ahead of Tamas, and then if he can get himself into that DRS train of Ika Bayana, then I don't know if he can fight for the win on Dylan because there's only 2 laps left, but maybe he could get himself into a comfortable second. And then Istvan Pukki had that bit of a contact earlier on the turn 1 a couple of laps back. Unfortunately, he's not really stuck with Sabrino and Tamas, so his next aim I think will probably be to get ahead of Ishmael and then maybe go for a fight with Tamas. I'm not quite sure. So we'll see what happens on the last lap of the race. But we head through to begin shortly, lap 28 to 29. It's still Dylan Warren ahead of Ika Bayana. Max Wiesel, both TF10s there with a 3-second penalty for track limits. Big shame for those. So we head down towards turn 1 again. And now there's no DRS for Tamascal. There is DRS for Sergio Sabrino down towards turn 1. Istvan Pukki as well, looking to get himself ahead of Ishmael Fassi. Ishmael using a bit more battery into the braking zone. And then it's Istvan to the inside line. Breaks very late in towards turn 1. Goes a little bit deep. That allows Ishmael to fight back. And now Daniel Kjelsen also getting involved in this battle down towards turn 4. So we could see a 3-wide battle in towards that corner. Now Daniel round the outside of Isfan Pookie. Ishmael Fassi also getting involved. They go through and it will still be Isfan ahead, but Daniel's going to go round the outside. Is it enough? He hasn't got the grip on the exit, so it is still Isfan Pookie ahead of Daniel, but he's clutching onto this 6th position so hard. He's really not pushing forward like I thought. It was Ika Bayena gets a penalty. 3-second penalty for Ika Bayena. That will drop him down a few positions. This is so good for Race Clutch and Ishmael Fassi and Isfan Pookie as well to gain positions. But we come through to it nearly end lap 28 at 29. This could be a very interesting final lap.
And of course, Fast Lab's gone to Nelson, and he's down in 20th place. So at the moment, then, there will not be a bonus point inside the top 10. This is unbelievable racing we are seeing right now. Ika Bayena just running on the alternate strategy. We knew he was having problems. Now he's running a little bit too wide with that 3-second time penalty. Dylan Warren can relax a little bit now for the last lap. Perfect strategy. For once, Ferrari got something right in the strategy. It works in esports better. Get these guys on in Ferrari as they come across to start the last lap. Dylan Warren's still got to defend here from Ika, but he knows that time penalty is going to be impossible to make up. Last lap the call.
Yep, heading down towards turn 1. He's a bit too far back. No, he's not. Sergio Sabrina takes 3rd from his teammate in towards turn 1. This little battle be further behind. Isfan Pookie looking for a move. Daniel Kjelsen also looking for a move. Contact between the Ferrari and the AlphaTauri through towards turns 1, and that is Daniel off the track. Now, Coldon N'Golo looking to go around the outside of both of them in towards turn 4. It's the Mercedes of FVR. Coldon N'Golo, can he get himself ahead as they head through? No, he can't. A little bit too far back. Daniel back up the inside of the Mercedes as they head through now, down in towards turn 6, and a bit further back. We've got Chanakinchi. He's looking for a move there on Coldon N'Golo. Does he get himself ahead? We'll look at that a little bit as I head down into a big side off track there for Chanakinchi. Nelson Alves gets a 3-second penalty, but he's in 20th anyway, so that doesn't matter for him. Andre Molnar still fighting with Simon Komsky as well for P13 and P14. Isfan Pookie looking for a move as they head down towards turn 10, and a bit of a slide from both of them, bit of a locking up between Ishmael and Isfan. They head down towards 11. This is probably the last time that Isfan can get a run and get himself ahead of the Williams of Ishmael Fassi as they head into the braking zone at turn 11. You can just see how much more grip that Isfan has. Even though he's on 11 lap old tires, he's still got a lot more grip than Isfan Pookie. They head through in towards turn 12, then in towards in towards turn 13, and still it is Isfan behind Ishmael Fassi. They head down towards the braking zone. Is it enough for Isfan to get through? I don't think he has. He's got no battery, but back to the front. And Dylan Warren, absolutely phenomenal race today. Perfect strategy, perfect racing from Dylan Warren, who takes the victory for the first race of the PSGL Series Season 2. And Ika Bayena will drop down to P4, so it's a Race Clutch 2nd and 3rd for Sergio and Tamas. Equal finish in P4, Ishmael Fassi in P5, Daniel Kjelsen P6, Isfan Pookie mostly went off track because he's finishing in P7, only a little bit ahead of Coldon N'Golo. Chanakinchi in P9, and Lefted for SRT rounds out the top 10.
Wow, what a race! Absolutely brilliant strategy from Dylan Warren. Well timed with his teammate Isfan Pookie. He wins here in Bahrain for the opener of Season 2 of PSGL Series. Sergio Sabrino and Tamas Gal, perfect 2nd and 3rd. Tamas playing the team game, letting Sergio go for an attack on the last lap. Ika Bayena, great strategy in principle, but drops to 4th with a penalty. Ismail Fassi tried but failed for 5th after leading for so long. Brilliant opening race of the year.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. Absolutely well done to every driver on the grid there. That was a really fun race. And well, Dylan Warren won by 2.4 seconds last season. This season he wins by 2.2. So still, Dylan Warren being one of the best drivers around this circuit, and he showed that today, definitely. As you can see, there we are. So Dylan Warren takes the victory ahead of Sergio and Tamas Gal, 2nd and 3rd for Race, which very good for them. Sergio qualified P11, finished in 2nd. Ika Bayena side 9th, he finishes in 4th, followed by Ismail Fassi and Daniel Kjelsen in the top 6. And we've got Isfan Pookie, followed by Coldon N'Golo, Chanakinchi and Lefted in the top 10. Very nice there for SRT to get themselves a top 10 finish. Then we have the two Red Bulls, TF10, Max Wiesler, Matthew Waldron, P11 and 12. Lekomsky 13th, Andre Molnar 14th, Will Lewis in 15th, Jan Halliday 16th, Boris Zakasek 17th, Javier Domine 18th, Louis Welch 19th, and then Nelson Alves rounding out the whole grid. And he also got the fastest lap, but unfortunately he wasn't in the top 10, so no extra point for Nelson Alves. But whew, that was a really, really fun race, and hopefully we can get some interviews of some of these drivers.
Really hope so. Would be really nice to get them in, and we'll see in the lobby right now if anybody's there. Just hanging them in myself. I don't know if you've got anything there as well, Richie.
Oh, look, Dylan's in the commentator box 1. So we'll drag. Oh, he's being dragged around everywhere. Right, we'll drag him in. There we are, Dylan. You found your way. You've been in about 4 channels then. So anyway, welcome in.
Oh.
But great race. Very nice race indeed. And yeah, again, a great win. You said to me earlier that you wasn't that, he wasn't looking that quick. But well, you won by 2 seconds. I think that's a very good race indeed.
Yeah, I would gladly take it, especially after the start. But I mean, to be honest, I was surprised I even made it to Q2 with the lap I pulled, and then Q3. I mean, I'll take the P4 as well. So honestly, it was a good race, and it wasn't a relaxing one, especially at the end. I had 2 warnings as well, and I saw Biner go to space, so it's a penultimate corner. But honestly, yeah, I'm really happy. It's a shame for Sven that he ran out of fuel at the end, but other than that,
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, fuel.
Yeah. Well, obviously, he's fun. When we got in towards the position where he was getting ahead of the RSGs, and I think it was Ishmael, Isfan didn't really stick with you. Is there any reason why? Because he kind of dropped back a little bit and was stuck behind Ishmael Fassi for the whole last 2 or 3 laps, and you easily flew through.
I think it's a mix of. I think he was overtaking someone. I don't know who it was, or defending from Sergio, and he outbroke himself. But then also he had less battery than me, and he had to lead the whole first stint. So I don't think, honestly, if I was in this position, I don't think I would have done much better because the way the tires work, and what I had with Biner at the end, where he was able to stay on with 7 lap older tires, he probably had the same 2 laps earlier, maybe.
Yeah.
Because like I had to drag him there because he had to say fuel, battery, so his was a race of management, and for me, I had more fuel, less wing, so I was able to just go with it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, great job. Nothing left for me to say. Anything from you, Josh, before we let Dylan go?
Great strategy. How did you feel when you came out of the pit lane and found out you were in front of everybody? It was perfectly timed.
Oh, I was so glad. I saw Louis holding him up on the map, and I mean, I heard this fan complaining about it, but I think Louis sort of made my race. In some sense, I don't doubt that I could have maybe got all of them. Maybe later once we caught, since I probably would have had more battery, fresher tires as well. But then it would have made the climb through the top 4 much more difficult, and I'm surprised how quickly we caught them as well. But yeah, I mean, overall, all I can say is a good race. And
Perfect race.
Yeah.
Well done. Perfect opener. Well done. That was brilliant.
It was. So one quick thing. Round 4, we've got Monaco. What are your thoughts about that one?
I am so happy that's there because honestly, team events at Monaco are the greatest thing to ever exist. It's a mixture of strategy, pace, qualifying, which I can't do, but that's besides the point. You can start anywhere and still land on the podium, even at Monaco. So that's why I look forward to it.
Well, we'll hold your word to that. So anyway, thanks Dylan for joining us. Great victory there for the first round, and we hope to see you again next time.
Okay, thank you very much.
No worries. Have a good one.
Bye.
And next we have Tamas Gal. Welcome in, Tamas. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Yep. So well done. P3 there. Your teammate just got ahead of you, but obviously that would probably been coordinated because he was on better tyres. But still, great job between you and Sergio. And in general, just a really good charge through the field when you went onto that overcut strategy. Would you like to talk us through what happened in that race in qualifying as well, where you took that really nice pole position?
I mean, I take the pole position, obviously. But, yeah, I mean, the race would have went well if... I don't know, but Luis hold me up again, like in PSGL to Japan. I don't know why. But he held me up again, lost like 1.5 seconds from me. And then I just had to push back to the DRS to Chan, I think, to have DRS. But then when I came into the DRS, they were just so slow. Like, I don't know what they were doing. Like, we were losing 2 seconds per lap. Like, that was really, really slow.
Yeah.
And like I don't even understand why they were fighting. Like, I don't know. It would have been just so much better if they used their brain and just stay behind, use their brain, and we could have easily, like, the guys who pitted lap 13 could have easily finished in the top 6 if they used their brain. But they didn't. They crashed. It's their problem. So yeah, I mean, I obviously take pole position. Win could have made my day better, but obviously most points. So I take that.
Yeah, well, either way, great job there on the strategy. Well, I suppose you did a decent job on the strategy anyway, starting pole down to P3. But obviously, I think Race Clutch would have earned the most points from that race, 2nd and 3rd. I think Ferrari would have been 1st and 6th. So
yeah,
I presume you're championship leaders. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think you can hold it through the next 7 rounds?
Obviously, yeah. That's the point, and that's the goal. And yeah, I will just practice for every race,
Yeah.
probably, and every quali. And if I keep up getting pole positions or top threes, then it shouldn't be a problem to even win it.
Yeah, well. Anyway, GG's on that. GG's to Sojo as well for taking P2 with you in that race. And we hope to see you again next time.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good night.
You too indeed. Right, so we come to the end of the interviews. No interview there from Sergio Sabrina, so we're going to get the chat, well, the cameras back on, and we can pop ourselves onto the intermission screen. There we are. So, absolutely great ending to the first round. I believe Race Clutch will be leading the standings after that one, finishing second and third. That'll be, was it 32 and 30 points, I believe?
Should be, yeah. Look
something
at,
like
do you want me to get the stats up for you?
If you can, yeah, that would be nice. We can try and have a bit of a rough workout of who's where in the standings.
Right, so it's 35 for a win. So I need to get the last place up on my phone to try and give you a rough idea of where they are in the standings. It's 28 and 25 for P2 and 3. So I reckon we're going to see the Alpines leading the way at the moment.
53 points that'll be for them. Ferrari will be, I think, around that 40, 50 mark. So we've got a very close championship going in towards round 2. And, well, what were your thoughts on that race then, Josh?
Very dramatic at places as well. Very difficult to get excited sat down with my chest the way it was. So sort of fighting way through. If you listen, can't barely breathe at the moment. Great way to get back in. Delighted to be back at PSGL, and E-Series delivered an absolute cracker of an opener, just as we knew Bahrain would. So roll on race 2 in a couple of days.
Yeah, definitely.
It
was a really, really fun race. And, well, and Jona Martin tells us that it's 53 points. No, 53 for Alpine, 51 for Ferrari. So 2 points separating the top 2 going into round 2. Very close and still a lot to fight for. Obviously, we're off to Interlagos in that round. We'll just pop the calendar on quickly before we head off. So it's Interlagos next week, followed by Silverstone and Monaco for the first half of the season. And I think, you know, if they can still keep pulling off what they have in this race, we've got a very, very good championship on the way. Monaco, as Dylan said, he's one he's excited for. I'm also excited for Monaco, and I think Josh is as well. But
yeah,
that is pretty much everything from this race. We've had all the qualifying, all the race, and it's been a really interesting one all the time long. So thank you all for everyone in the chat as well who's been with us the whole race, and thank you to Connor for giving us this opportunity. And also thank you to GT Omega for giving us the prize pool for this series. And remember, obviously, you can go to GT Omega's page and you can use that 5% code PSGL, and you can get yourself 5% off on your order. So there's all from us. We'll be back next week for Interlagos. So have a good evening, everyone, and make sure to come back tomorrow for PCF 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then Monday for PSF 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 as well. So see you then. Have a good evening, everyone, and a good night.